Don't you be pump rating in here, Eli. 18th, Lanati. Good morning. You were first, Monster. That's true. I did see you. Oh, I guess she does sing a little bit. Unpump rate's crazy. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Happy Friday. I appreciate you guys. How's everybody doing on this Friday? It's Friday. Yay. No, not still pump rate. That wasn't for me. That one wasn't for me. Hi, Dragons Keld. Hello. I see all of you over here. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. See you guys. Hope everybody is doing well. As we get started today, make sure we do all of the good things. Tap the screen, share the live, do your daily heart me if you have not done so. You played Hooky Illusion? I love that. If you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit that like button over there. I would appreciate it very, very much if we could do that as we get started today. Make sure also I have the roses up there. If we could get those accomplished, that would be wonderful. Let's talk about my goal because Ashby was on it because Ashby knows that George Soros is our overlord and that we must pay him. So Ashby, thank you so much for the $5 for the Antifa dues. I appreciate you. So W's to Ashby in the comments. So that brings our starting goal down to 95. Oh, that's not what that is. I can type, I promise. So 95 is our goal today. You can help out with that. Get your Antifa dues in if you haven't gotten them in for April to the Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal link in the link tree in my bio. We have an outline. I have an outline every day. We got a caller or two yesterday, but they haven't been brave. I see that they haven't been brave enough to speak and defend their man. And maybe you guys are changing and you know, fuck you, because we told you so. But if you would like to try and have a conversation based off of factually based evidence and not your fee-fees, you absolutely can at 509-795-0412. And we can try and have a conversation. I have no problem doing that, but you're going to give me facts. I don't want to hear common sense. I don't want to hear you don't think. I don't want to hear you say my mama's cousin fucking dog saw something. Okay? Okay. I sound communist. I didn't know communist sounded a certain way. Hello, work wife. She's probably, I was going to say, she's like probably AFK, which is, yes, do that. Sorry, Ashby. We need to get you to remember your headphones before I get you in trouble like I did our Minnesota friend. Oops. All right. We'll get started here today. Actually, I want to start. I have stuff on RFK, but we'll get to that maybe later. Let's start with this. Damn Axios and their paywall. But, all right. U.S. considers a $20 billion cash for uranium deal with Iran. That $20 billion. Okay. The U.S. and Iran are negotiating over a 3-page plan to end the war, with one element under discussion being that the U.S. would release $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds in return for Iran giving up its stockpile of enriched uranium, according to 2 U.S. officials and 2 additional sources briefed on the talks. Huh. It's interesting, because you guys cried a lot. I just posted a video about somebody who recently cried a lot with a complete misunderstanding about the JCPOA, which was that we unfroze $400 million. Yeah, we're giving them money. $400 million of their assets were unfrozen under the JCPOA with restrictions on their uranium. That's a lie. How's that a lie? We unfroze it. I know. Interesting. Y'all, DFF is saying it's never going to happen. Hi, Casey, by the way. Saying it's never going to happen. The problem is, I don't know that that amount would necessarily never happen. We're going to read about it. The thing is Donald Trump is looking for a way out. Desperately. He thought that this mission would be similar to the 24-hour thing that happened with Maduro in Venezuela. It wasn't, because he's an idiot, and all the people in his cabinet are idiots. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio are all idiots who don't know what the fuck they're talking about and thought that this would be quick. It's not. Go away. Go away, ad. Thank you. But also, we'll see about this. Hi, Michael. How are you today? Oh, I'm so glad that Donald Trump put out a fire he started. I love when firefighters do that. It's a Why is it going down? Why is it going down, Michael? Michael, sweetie, come back down to earth. Why is it going down? That's why it's going down? That's why it's going down? Why is it going down? Why is was the strait open? Why did the strait close? Oh, did Iran start this? When? Oh, they started it 47 years ago. Okay. Uh-huh. It wasn't the fact that Israel and the US bombed them, because it was open for that entire. Hold on, sweetie. Yes, it wasn't. It was open for that entire. I said yes. I said yes. Open your ears, Michael. I'm not. I am saying the strait was open. The strait was open for 47 years. The strait was open. The strait was open. No, I am not going to give Donald Trump a participation trophy when he started the problem. The strait was open for 47 years. Then Israel and the US decided to start bombing Iran. After that, the strait closed. Now, after multiple deals coming together and falling apart, Iran has decided to open the strait that was already open before this started. And now you guys want to glaze Trump's taint for starting the problem and fixing the problem he created. How? Mm-hmm. Was the strait open before before the US and Israel? Was the strait, Michael, I am asking you, was the strait open before Israel and the US started bombing Iran? Oh, okay. So then, no, great. Cool. Yeah, they did. You're right. They did shut it down after we bombed them. Right. So why are you giving Michael, 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 Michael. So why would we give credit? Why would we give credit? Why would we give credit? There's no educating you, sweetheart. You are gone. You are gone, gone. Yes, because Donald Trump is now, sure, everything's W corrupted for the Swan to boot Michael. I was trying. They're very unwell. They're unwell. If the strait was open the entire time, and yes, Iran closed it, but Iran closed it because you were bombing schools and killing hundreds of school kids, you don't get to now praise him for the fact that Iran decided to open the strait now that they are discussing possibly getting money, which we'll get right back into. There has been steady progress in the talks this week, though significant gaps remain. A deal on these terms would bring the war to a close, the war that Donald Trump started, while potentially generating backlash from Iran hawks. President Trump said Thursday that U.S. and Iran negotiators would likely meet this weekend for a second round of talks to try to seal the deal. Again, the deal is not done. So the reason gas price is going down is the same reason our stock market is now going up. It is a projection market. It is a rumor market. It is market manipulation, Swarovski. They came out and said a deal is coming. And so the stock market's like, yay! Even though there might not actually be a deal done. I hope there is. I don't want to see the fact that they're sending 10,000 more troops to add to the 50,000 we already have over there. I don't want that. I want it to end. But we're not going to give Trump credit for ending something he started. He started it. You guys are fucking broken in the head. You're broken. Okay. Breaking it down, a top priority for the Trump administration is ensuring Iran can't access the stockpile of nearly 2,000 kgs of enriched uranium buried in its underground nuclear facilities, in particular the 450 kg enriched to 60% purity. The Iranians, meanwhile, need money. The parties are negotiating over what will happen to the stockpile and how much of Iran's assets will be unfrozen. They're also discussing the terms on which Iran could use that money. Trump wrote on Truth Social after this story published that no money will change hands, which I have that truth to show you, though he didn't refer specifically to the idea of unblocking Iranian funds. According to two sources, the U.S. was ready in an earlier stage of the negotiations to release $6 billion for Iran to purchase food, medicine, and other humanitarian supplies. The Iranians demanded $27 billion. The latest number discussed by the U.S. and Iran is $20 billion, the sources said. One U.S. official said that was a U.S. proposal. So a source is telling us this was proposed by the U.S. The other U.S. official described the cash for uranium concept as one of many discussions, because it is. It is a discussion because there is no actual deal. So again, further showing you that this is a rumor market, not necessarily an actual done deal. So I will let's see. Let's do Fox News first. So this is Fox News talking about how this is really Iran and Tehran, leaders in Tehran, strong-arming Trump, who, and to be honest, it's really not even that big of a strong arm, because Trump has been looking for a way out since he started this. Like I said, he thought this would be something quick, something like Venezuela, and it wasn't. And he would like to move on to Cuba and make that be a quick operation. It probably won't be. But he wants this to end. He desperately is looking for a way out. He is desperately looking for a way to say, we won, and turn around and walk away. And for you guys to glaze him. Look at you. You already are. Michael was a brilliant example of that. Glazing him for nothing. He has said, we've won, but we need to keep fighting for the last month now. If we won, why are we still there? Because we didn't win anything.
The foreign minister of Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz, behind me in the distance in the Persian Gulf, is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire. So, things apparently on the upswing here in the Gulf. We can report here in the UAE, there's been about a week of calm now. No incoming missiles or drones from Iran after weeks and weeks of almost endless attacks coming from Iran. Also, the
We like to see that. I don't want to bomb any more children, and I don't want to see bombs coming from them. But this is Van Hollen describing exactly what I'm describing to you. And I know you won't like it because it's MS Now, and it's a Democrat. So you guys will close your ears and not listen to anything because the only thing you know how to do is glaze Trump's taint.
This is another example where Donald Trump lit the fire and now wants credit for putting it out, because under the Obama administration, we had an agreement with Iran that prevented Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. In fact, in the early days of the first Trump administration, they certified that Iran was in compliance with that agreement.
I love when you guys say this. Let's talk tactical. You said Trump's your daddy, baby. If Trump was my dad, he'd be dead. And the world would be a much happier place.
But then, again, together with Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Trump, in his first term, decided to rip that up. And when he ripped that up, Iran said, well, we're no longer constrained by that either. So it's just one more example where Donald Trump breaks stuff, lights things on fire, and now is coming to the American people and saying, pat me on the back for putting out the fire that I started. This is enough.
You hear that? Why are you glazing him for making prices higher? Yeah, oil's starting to drop. But it's not where it was. It's not where it was when he came in. Do you want to see it? We can look at it together if you want. Love looking up crude oil per barrel. Okay? Look, 82, it is going down. Let's go 10 years back so that we can look at when Donald Trump took office. Okay? Oh, it's still higher than it was when he took office, wasn't it? Oh, maybe it's because he started a war of choice in Iran that didn't need to happen. So no, nobody here is going to be patting him on the back for that. Nobody. Except for you. Because you guys don't have any balls. He took them from you. And remember that he wants eye contact when you suck him off. Okay. So let's go into this. Where's this truth? There's that one. Nope, we want the truth on the deal, and then we'll go into his fucking madness. Okay. The USA will get all nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form, except that obviously we're having discussions about unfreezing assets, which is so... That's not true. Again, that's not set in stone, but the discussions are happening. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with Hezbollah, I don't know what it's, situation in an appropriate manner. It's Hezbollah. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Thank you, President DJT, which I'm sure Netanyahu is very happy about. To be talked to like that, in any way, shape, or form. But here is his other truth, which is interesting. Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you. What's the Strait of Iran?
It's the update he got on his Minesweeper.
It's the Strait of Hormuz, or as Besant calls it, the Strait of Vermouth. But apparently, to me, this is a capitulation. Like, this is a capitulation that you know that Iran controls the strait. And then also you're thanking them for opening it. We won. We did big things. You got them, guys. I'm so proud of you. You guys got them. Good job. Again, your brains are fucking broken. Do that one, highlight that one. These ones are almost all old, actually. I'm just gonna get rid of this one. But let's go to, I wanted to show this the other day. This is Rand Paul, because again, you guys can sit here and claim victory, whatever. My concern is still the fact that we were lied to the entire time. And so is Rand Paul's, who is a libertarian Republican, talking about the fact that the objective was never made clear. Now they have just stuck to one objective, which is that we need to make sure that they never have a nuclear bomb. But But the problem is that supposedly we eliminated that. And that's my issue, and that's Rand Paul's issue.
So give us your explanation of your vote and your position. We'll start there.
Well, you know, the Constitution's pretty clear. We debated this at the Constitutional Convention. The Founding Fathers said that they didn't want the power to declare or initiate war to be with the president. They wanted it to be with Congress. So the way you go to war constitutionally, if and when you go to war, is there has to be a debate in Congress, and Congress should vote to declare or to initiate war. That step hasn't happened, so we've skipped a very important constitutional step. Now, if we had the vote, you'd have to debate then whether or not it's in our national interest. I think our biggest threat to
Broderick. Love the slur, Broderick, but you said if you think he makes his own tweets, you are the R-slur. Sweetheart, we literally showed him standing next to DoorDash grandma the other day saying he posted what he posted. He did it. He says that he does it. So maybe you're the one who should look into that. Okay? Because he said he did it. He thought he was a doctor, but he posted himself as Jesus. It was a whole thing. I have a video on it you can watch.
our security, to our national security, is our debt. So I think spending another $500, $700 billion on a war in Iran is not in our national security. I think it makes us weaker.
The way it was explained was it was an operation to try and eliminate a budding nuclear threat from Iran, and a country that obviously we've known for a long time that Iran was a serious threat. We've talked last week quite a bit about how in 2015, when Obama wanted the JCPOA, everybody was more than aware that you had this very serious threat of a nuclear Iran that we were dealing with. That threat never went away. We just kind of have been kicking it down the road for all these years. If this was just, if this was just an operation to eliminate
exactly
that threat, is that a war?
That's not exactly true.
Okay.
President Trump bombed them about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And at the end of that bombing, which took about 12 days with Israel and with the U.S. bombing, the president's administration told us their nuclear capabilities had been obliterated. So that's what we were told 6 months ago.
So what changed? 6 months ago, we argued with you all. I'm actually going through old footage right now where you guys argued with us for a good month and a half about the fact that when we did Operation Midnight Hammer, June of last year, that they obliterated the nuclear capability completely. It was done. It was gone. And we were saying that the DNI doesn't even say that. Tulsi Gabbard wasn't saying that until she was threatened and admonished, and then she changed her tune, right? And you guys were like, no, Trump is the best. Trump obliterated it. They don't have nukes anymore. It's the greatest president of all time. So then what the fuck are we doing here 6 months later? What the fuck are we doing here? Did they lie to you then, or are they lying to you now? You're lying to yourself. Remember that. You're not lying to me. I also wanted to point out Vinny, who said that we should you meant ban, soy boy males and women from voting. Problem solved. Are you scared to lose, Vinny? You can't win on your own, Vinny? You can't win on your own platform? Maybe the conservative platform isn't popular anymore, Vinny, that you now have to ban people from voting because you know you won't win without it. Cool, got it.
I would think it would be incumbent upon them to tell us how that's changed. I don't think there's anything imminent here that couldn't have had a debate and a vote in Congress, and it's still what should occur. We should have a debate and vote on whether or not we should go to war.
Let me just ask this, and this is an honest question. Is there better, the president, I assume, has better intelligence than anyone in the Senate or any committee would have, right?
Yeah. Well, just recently, last week in the House, the Director of National Intelligence gave a briefing, and in that briefing, she said that the intelligence estimate of all of our intelligence agencies has not changed, that they are no closer, and that there is no evidence that there was a rush to create a bomb or to create a bomb that would go on a missile that could reach the United States. So, no, our intelligence agencies have said there hasn't been a change.
Uh-oh. Remember that? We showed you guys that too. I know you guys don't listen to that, but we showed you when Tulsi Gabbard testified in front of the House and in front of the Senate, and she had admitted that their intelligence had not changed, that it was going to take Iran years to try to get back to whatever they were doing in a nuclear way. So, again, Are they lying then or are they lying now? Which one is it? And then this is kind of a side quest, I guess. In regards to Iran, though, Stephen Miller almost slips up. And he almost slips up in a bad way. And I'm just not going to tell you guys anything. I'm just going to let you hear it for yourself. But you can hear the pause and hear where he realizes that the word he almost says is a really bad fucking word coming from a man with a Jewish family.
And this embargo and every other option is on the table as President Trump seeks that final, safe, secure outcome for the people of the world.
The final what, Stephen? He looks for the final what?
And every other option is on the table as President Trump seeks that final, safe, secure outcome for the people of the world.
Sorry, that's as loud as I can do it. Yeah, he almost said solution. It almost happened. Almost came out of his mouth. Okay. Let's move on to this other news I wanted to get to here. So initially I was going to do it here, but then they went and voted overnight, so we won't cover what they planned to do. If you guys don't know what FISA is, let's talk about it. I have the new one too, Ari, just so you know, the one you posted I also have. I just want to start with this one. Congress approves short-term FISA spy powers extension amid GOP infighting. You guys are fighting with yourselves, okay? In the dead of night at 2:09 p.m., hold on, I'll reread that in just a minute. Jose, you keep saying both sides lie. You just have to learn how to adapt so that you can make money either way. Yes, both sides lie. Hold them both accountable. And get the fuck out of the bullshit capitalism. When did Joe Biden say no more crude oil in the United States? When did he say that? Subi, if that's your name, Subi, it's absolutely monetarily motivated. It is absolutely market manipulation so him and his friends and his family can get rich, which I hope we can get into. I have an entire PBS News 8-minute little docu on it. Okay, yeah, Gen X. In the dead of night at 2:09 a.m., so while people were sleeping, on Friday, the House passed a bill to extend FISA through April 30th by unanimous consent after Republicans tanked procedural votes on the controversial warrantless surveillance law. The short-term extension buys GOP leaders more time to continue negotiations amid Republican infighting over the program that was set to expire on Monday. The program allows the federal government to collect communications of foreigners abroad without a warrant, including when those people are interacting with Americans. According to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the U.S. government believes it's a vital tool for protecting the country against hostile foreign adversaries, including terrorists, proliferators, and spies, and to inform cybersecurity efforts. The Senate approved a 10-day extension of FISA by voice vote Friday morning, giving Congress more time to negotiate reforms on the bill. So it's not being extended for very long because they're having a lot of fighting because there are still Republicans who believe in the idea of no big brother. Right? That's what you guys said. We don't like big government. And yet, here you are, simping for big government. Which is an interesting place for y'all to be. You guys want it so bad as long as it's not for you. Right? President Donald Trump has urged Republicans to back the measure and hosted a group of hardliners at the White House Tuesday night to find a path forward as the law is set to expire on Monday. Quote, I am asking Republicans to unify and vote together on the test to bring a clean bill to the floor. We need to stick together when this bill comes before the House Rules Committee today to keep it clean, Trump wrote on social media on Wednesday. Our military patriots desperately need FISA 702, and it is one of the reasons we have had such tremendous success on the battlefield, Trump added. It has already prevented many such attacks, and it is very important that it remain in full force and effect. Despite opposition from some GOP hardliners, House Speaker Mike Johnson was this week still trying to determine a path forward to muscle through an 18-month clean extension of the program. Senate Majority Leader John Thune told reporters Friday that Congress can no longer afford to go dark on the issue amid the pushback from some Democrats and hardline Republicans. We can't wait around for long. We've got to pivot and figure out what we can pass. Some Republicans who oppose a clean extension of the surveillance tool and demand reforms like a warrant requirement were not convinced to change their position following the meeting. Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Harris of Maryland said no when asked if progress was made on FISA during the meeting. They have to deal with the FISA court's objection to the warrantless searches, Harris said. There have been continued debate over Section 702 because it sometimes, listen to this is where it is you. I know you guys heard foreigners, so you stopped listening. I want you to listen. Sometimes allows the government to collect Americans' communications without a warrant. Discussions are ongoing still, Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona said, leaving. Representative Keith Self of Texas, who attended the White House meeting on Tuesday night, said he does not believe a clean extension will pass. We'll see, but I don't think the clean extension will pass. After the meeting, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise suggested some minor changes could be made to the legislation to appease the holdouts, but did not divulge specifics. FISA has been important for our country's national security, Scalise said. We've put some important, much-needed reforms in place the last time it was up for reauthorization, and what President Trump has asked is that now we authorize it with those reforms in place, and that's what we're working to do, so we're having some final conversations. Not all our members are quite there yet. They're just, at the very least, they're asking for warrants. Like, Angela, you're not with me on this? You're just going to insult me? You're not with me in the hardline Republicans who say that you should at least have a fucking warrant because they could use this to surveil you? Guess you're not for small government after all. Subi Dubs, thank you so much for the gift over there on YouTube. I appreciate it. Guys, remember I am multi-streaming, so I am on Twitch and YouTube. You can go over to Twitch and you can follow or subscribe. You can send bits. There are stickers over there. If you guys would like to go to YouTube, you can subscribe or join the membership. If the chat's going pretty fast, it's hard for me to see chat. Sometimes you can send a super chat so that I definitely see it. I would appreciate that very, very, very much. Guys over here on TikTok, you're doing wonderful with the tapping. Like, I have no complaints. You guys are doing very, very well. Love the tapping. Keep doing that. Maybe we can hit 100,000 before we hit 11 o'clock today. That would be wonderful. Remember, 9.5 left in my goal. The links are in the link tree in my bio for that. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
35, Nebraska, Donald Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
I support Trump because he's the only president who ever ran and actually does the things that he has proclaimed that he would do for the American people.
Can you name one and we can talk about it? Okay, close the borders.
Get rid of the illegal immigrants.
How did he close the border?
He enforced our border laws, and guess what?
What's the title that our immigration law is under?
Coming through. That is not my job to know the title.
So how do you know if he's enforcing it if you don't know what it is?
Because it's reported all over the media.
Where?
That the borders have literally been shut down. There's hardly anybody coming into this country anymore, and those who do get served or deported. Bye-bye.
What is asylum?
Those who claim, quote-unquote, claim asylum, who are really here for the free handouts and benefits that the Americans give them, they need to show up in court.
What handouts?
And many of them have been deported. And guess what? They got their bags packed and they're going home, too.
Cool. What benefits do undocumented immigrants receive from the federal government?
Oh, well, you can go to any blue state city, They call them
I asked you about federal government, federal benefits.
Let's start with New York City.
Cool.
They were paying people to live in a motel, paying for their food.
Was that federal or state funds?
Oh, you better believe the state and federal work together for it. The feds were giving New York City money behind the scenes for it.
Behind the scenes, can you prove that?
I think the Department of ICE was nearly
sweetheart, I know you just want to talk. I want proof. So I would like you to show me where they were staying in hotels that the federal government was paying for, and what year was that?
Well, you're going to have to give me a minute to Google that, aren't you?
Yep, go ahead. Those were asylum seekers, so they were legal. I asked about undocumented, didn't I? I did. Guys, make sure we're doing all of the good things. Tap that screen, share the live out. If you haven't done your daily heart me, please do so. Again, remember 9.5 is left in my goal. If you would like to send 10 to the links in my link tree, we can get rid of this caller and we can continue doing our outline as he researches stuff that he has big opinions on without knowing anything about it. So make sure you remember 10 to my pay links and we can get rid of him. Or if you would just like to send a message while we're sitting up here, I would appreciate it. Let's get that goal down today. It's Friday. Let's complete that out.
So it says right here, New York City used hotels as shelter since 2022. New York had a huge influx of migrants.
Can you show me where the federal government... Oh, asylum seekers. I asked you about undocumented.
Because of its right to shelter law, the city
I
provided
asked
housing.
you... Hold on. I asked you about undocumented immigrants receiving benefits. Asylum seekers are documented.
No, they're not.
How not?
These were all illegal immigrants.
No, asylum seekers are legal.
No, they're not.
Based on what?
They're illegal
Based on
immigrants as well.
They're not. Based on what?
These were people that just walked across the border because, you know what? Because they know that they can just come here and, you know, get every benefit.
No, is it legal?
For
Is it is it legal for asylum? Is it legal for asylum seekers? Honey, I know you're mad now. Is it legal for asylum seekers? Is it legal for asylum seekers to come over here? Even if not at, hold on, even if not at a port of entry.
FEMA programs reimbursed these cities for related costs.
Yeah, FEMA has a separate pot for that, and those are legal. You need to show me where seeking asylum is not legal, because if they are seeking asylum, they are documented, therefore they have a legal status.
Everybody who came across that border, quote unquote, sought asylum because they knew they could come here for the freebies.
They are seeking asylum. That's the law. If you do not like the law, you need to get Congress to change it. That's not my problem. You have a problem with the Constitution.
Yeah, they
Get Congress to change it. Don't complain. You don't get to call them illegal. You don't get to call them illegal. You don't get to cry and bitch when you're not reaching out to your Congress people about changing the law. They have asylum. They have TPS. They have TPS. I don't care. They were legal. They were legal. They had TPS status. They had TPS status, so they are legal. They're not illegal. What I asked you is to find me where undocumented illegal immigrants are getting benefit from the federal government. You are just mad that TPS for asylum seekers is legal. You're just crying about something that Congress isn't trying to fix. Okay?
You know what's real funny about what you say when they show up for their court appearance and they get their asylum cases thrown out?
Sure.
Guess what?
Yeah,
they don't leave the country, do they? They go somewhere else.
No. What happens? Hold on. What happens? No. What is the job of DHS after their asylum case is rejected? What's their job?
You know, the job of the federal government.
Nope, DHS specifically.
To protect the American citizen.
DHS, sweetie. DHS, sweetie. An asylum seeker just had their claim rejected by a judge. What's the next step?
DHS is the government agency that these illegal immigrants love because they pay for their health care. They pay
DHS pays for it? DHS pays for it.
Yeah,
DHS does food stamps? I didn't know food stamps was under DHS. I thought, I thought DHS. No. I thought food stamps. I thought food stamps was under USDA. What branch is the Department of Homeland Security under?
Guess what? Don't care, because you know what? All
you guys know nothing. You know nothing. You just hate brown people. What brown person took your job because you're mediocre? Which one?
Oh, nobody took my job.
So again, I'm going to ask you: when an asylum seeker's case is initially rejected by the court, what is when an asylum seeker's case is initially?
And you know,
you'll sit on hold. It's fine.
Come into.
He's still talking.
Redistrict.
There's no safe third country agreement.
Redistricting for
counted as an extra vote.
God, he's
or
stupid.
to run and get more votes in Congress.
Okay, are you ready to answer my question now?
What's your question?
Cool. When an asylum seeker's case is rejected by an immigration judge, what is the next step for DHS and the next step for that said asylum seeker?
I sure wish they would send them to the jail.
I don't care. That's not what I asked you. I don't care. A dream is a wish your heart makes. I don't care. I don't care. That's your feelings. I started this and I said that I don't care about your feelings. I want factually based information. So if you could just please tell me what happens. Not what you wish to happen, what actually happens. What would DHS
let me tell you
do?
what actually happens then. So once they get denied, they go and buy a fake name and social security
That's not what
number
happens.
and start
No, they can
working,
appeal.
and
No,
then
they
defraud
can
the American
appeal,
government,
sweetie.
and then under
You know
a
nothing
different
about the
name,
courts, do you? They can
apply
appeal.
for benefits
Can't
and
they?
start having
Can't
children.
they?
And then
Can't
once they start
they?
having children, then oh my gosh, we got to pay for everything for them.
Cool. Well,
We gotta pay for their
I'm glad.
healthcare.
Well, Godzilla
got-
God King paid for you. So thank you, Godzilla God King. I want to see W's to Godzilla God King in the chat for saving my brain. You're saving everybody's brain. Unfortunately, maybe not saving his. Because he's not very smart. But W to you. What I wish would happen. What I wish would happen, but the law says any alien physically present in the United States or who arrives in the United States, whether or not at a designated port of entry or of arrival, and including an alien who is brought to the United States after having been interdicted in United States or international waters, irrespective of such alien status, may apply for asylum in accordance with this section. You want that change? Have Congress change it. You guys won everything. We won the presidency. We won Senate. We won the House. And yet they haven't passed anything for immigration except for the redundant Laken-Riley Act, where it was already illegal. Thank you so much for immigrants to commit crime because murder is already illegal. If they commit crimes, get them out of here. Nobody has any issue with that. Okay? Glad we could get there. You're just a racist. Okay? Okay. Hi, Chicky.
Hello. Is my audio fine?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to know because he fake in between the muting and unmuting. He was saying something about then they have kids and we have to pay for all that. So I would like to know where my soldiers' family can apply for this because they are a family of 6. All the kids are citizens. And yeah, I've seen where they live. I want to know where they can get these all their stuff paid for because I feel like she deserves it. So if you can point in the direction where I can tell her family to get them financial help.
We now hate U.S. citizens as well. We hate U.S. citizen children. It's wild. So much hate.
More fucking real.
RTP went on a rant about it yesterday, and I almost clipped it to play today just because of how relatable it was. This is why I just shame you now, because there's nothing left. There's no redeemable quality in you. Nobody is trying to save you anymore. I just don't understand why you are so full of hate. How you can wake up every day and just hate other people because they're different. I don't need to move to California. I'm in Colorado. I'm just fine.
That was it. You can drop me.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Okay. So actually, let's go back to Rand Paul. Let's go to this immigration section. We'll move around to where you guys decide you want to be, because it's the only thing you have left is your hatred. You can't defend him on the merits. You can't defend him on his policy because it's not doing anything for the United States people. So let's move on to Rand Paul and Joe Kernan, who Joe Kernan we showed where he was having a crash out with Pete Buttigieg. He's just having a tough time, and his tough time is going to continue because we are asking you to follow the Constitution. That's all we're doing. Hi, friend. How are you?
Hey, good. That last caller, he had like the creepiest voice I've ever heard. Someone should check his fucking basement for bodies and shit.
Probably should.
save his number, call someone, first part, someone tie up in that motherfucker. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, friend. It's our Minnesota friend. So here is Rand Paul with Joe Kernan literally just saying it is not too much to have to follow the Constitution in regards to invading people's homes. Because as we found, ICE was violating the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution by illegally going into homes with simply administrative warrants, not judicial warrants. You need to have a judicial warrant signed by a judge to enter a home. They have not had that. And Joe Kernan's going to say, we can't do that. And Rand Paul's like, what the fuck do you mean? It's the Constitution. We absolutely can. Just say that you hate the founding documents of our country.
What about judicial warrants versus administrative warrants? They were insisting on that. Could you ever get to yes for Republicans on that? I don't think you could. We'd never be able to send anyone back if you needed a judicial warrant every single time.
Well, I don't think that's true. But, I mean, obeying the Fourth Amendment or the Constitution shouldn't be too difficult. The new nominee for DHS in his nomination hearing actually spoke in favor of having judicial warrants. It's the way we've always done it.
For everything, for everyone.
It is. For invading homes. For going into the home to get someone, we've always had judicial warrants. They're administered and issued by local judges.
We've talked about this over and over when we were talking about ICE, when we were talking about CBP, following the Constitution. So ICE and ICE agents can have what are called administrative warrants, okay? And they can sign it themselves. It's usually for specific people a lot of the times. There's some gray area, and I'll say that there's gray area that I might not necessarily agree with, just like the caller we had who crashed out, but it's the law. They are legally allowed to sign this administrative warrant, and if you find this person or suspected person in a public area, you are absolutely allowed to detain them and to bring them to your nearest ICE facility and go through the due process. Well, this administration's been getting in trouble for violating due process, but to go through the due process after you detain them. The issue we are now having is that ICE agents who were signing their own administrative warrants have been using those administrative warrants to break into people's homes. We saw that when they were in Minnesota, that they were breaking into people's homes and detaining them. You cannot do that without a warrant signed by a judge. That's all that Rand Paul is saying. You cannot use an administrative warrant to go into someone's home. You need to have a judicial warrant. And for some reason, the Trump administration, Kristi Noem, formerly at the DHS, has been fighting against that.
It is something we fought the revolution over. It was a big deal. John Wilkes, both in England with the press and with the king coming after one, then it came here, and James Otis fought for the Fourth Amendment to be added into the Constitution. So it is a big deal to come into someone's house. One, it's a big deal because sometimes they make a mistake and go in the wrong house. Right. And so we're very, very careful about getting judicial warrants. I don't think that's too big a step to have. And I actually think that there are Republicans who would accept that. But there's this unwillingness to sort of admit we made mistakes, we're doing better.
Also that part. There really wouldn't be, because agents make mistakes. Humans make mistakes. They did something, they fucked up. You have your director come out and say they fucked up, and we are absolutely going to have retraining and make sure that this never happens again. Not with this administration. This administration thrives on saying everything is great all the time. How dare you question it? And they never apologize. And the reason why this is so important is because of the case that we all know in Minnesota that's now being investigated as a kidnapping because they violated the law.
We have new reporting to share with you about the ICE arrest of an American citizen in Minnesota earlier this year. Officials now say that arrest is being investigated as a possible kidnapping, and they're demanding the federal government share additional information. CNN's Whitney Wild is following these developments for us. So what more do we know about the arrest and now this push for more information?
Well, this case centers on an incident that happened January 18th with a man named Chongli Scott Tao. He's that man, an elderly U.S. citizen who was taken out of his home by immigration agents. And as you see it there, he's wearing little more than Crocs, shorts, and a plaid blanket. And this, photo really caught the attention of the nation. It caught the attention of lawmakers. And now the county attorney in Ramsey County, John Choi, says he thinks effectively that this is evidence of a possible kidnapping. And so they are going to the federal government to demand more information about the circumstances surrounding this. They say that the federal government has shared very little information so far. Here's more from County Attorney John Choi.
This case involves a felonious allegation of kidnapping.
Now, remember, we covered this. We covered this when it happened, okay? They took this man, a legal permanent resident, or a U.S. citizen, U.S. citizen, out of his home without a warrant, which violates the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, just breaking laws, under the pretense that he was harmful to young women, that he had been kidnapping and harming young women, and he was a criminal, alien, illegal immigrant on the loose. And what we found was that actually, without his clothes, what we found was the person that they had on the administrative warrant that they used to illegally break into his home was for a man already in jail, already detained. That's what we found.
Illegal detainment, right? False imprisonment. I also want to make it very clear that we are not going to let this go. And what that means is that this could take a long time. And I believe that the statute of limitations in these cases can be told. And the reason why it can be told is if there's fraud or concealment done by the actors that make it difficult for us to get to the truth, then we will use every legal argument that we have to make sure that we will find what happened.
Schultzy, sweetie. Schultzy says, you are hyper-fixated on Trump. Guys, I just have a question. It might be a dumb question. Who's the president of the United States of America? Does anybody happen to know who it is, by chance? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because I'm just hyper-fixated on Trump. It's Rutherford B. Hayes? Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Schultzy, my job, this is my job. My job is to talk about politics. He's the Bob Dole. He is the president of the United States of America. He is in charge of the Republican Party right now. I talk about politics. So yes, I am going to talk about Trump. It would be weird if I hosted a political space and talked about Rihanna. That would be weird, wouldn't it? Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is the president. That would be weird, wouldn't it, Schultzy? My job is to criticize them because they work for us. I didn't vote for him, but he still works for me, or he's supposed to. And so I'm going to hold him accountable, especially because you won't. You will just glaze his taint and say, everything is great, my lord. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure Congress does their job. I'm going to make sure they follow the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. Sounds like all you talk about is President Trump. There are other people in politics. We did an entire thing on Russell Vogt yesterday, didn't we, friends? My entire live was just Russell Vogt, wasn't it? I have RFK on my outline. I just talked about Kristi Noem, didn't I, Schultzy? Interesting. But let's see how much it's costing us. Because it's really saving us money, isn't it? It's saving us so much money. Let's see what the nominee to DHS is saying. Yeah, I wasn't even talking about Trump. I was talking about the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution.
How much does it cost to deport an illegal alien? $18,225 on average to go through the prosecution to deport individuals. Now, you think about it. Underneath the Biden administration, 20 million individuals came here illegally. If we go through the process on every single one of those, do the math on that at $18,225 $225 per person.
Well, why does it cost that much?
Well, because
upwards of $18,000 to deport. He's going to get into why, and he's going to complain about why, which again is due process in the Constitution. Hey, Eli, congratulations, Eli.
$225 per person.
Well, why does it cost that much?
Well, because of the way the laws are written and the way that they can claim asylum, the way that we have to provide the attorney for the individuals, the way that they clog up our judicial system, and then
You mean due process? You mean the due process that they are entitled to under the Constitution, as has been decided by the Supreme Court multiple times? You mean that? That pesky Constitution again. Pesky Constitution. Yeah, right? Yeah, Z-Spark. He's got a point. If us having rights is just costing too much, then I guess, oh well, no more rights. Just get rid of the rights. They're clogging up the judicial system.
To pay, yes, and then we have to pay to deport the individual at the same time. Now,
how much?
Yeah, it costs a lot to go after people and lose in court all the time. And apparently, it's not really going that well because I saw this. I don't know why I haven't talked about it yet. Acting ICE director, remember he's the acting, but acting ICE director says he's resigning amid record-breaking shutdown. President.
That happened last night.
Yeah. President Trump's top immigration and customs enforcement official, Todd Lyons, said he would resign on Thursday as acting director, adding to the list of leadership shakeups at the Department of Homeland Security. We did show him. He did testify in front of Congress. I showed his videos as well, Schultzy. His exit, which will be effective May 31st, comes amid continued scrutiny of his agency's aggressive immigration tactics and a record-long funding lapse from Congress that resulted in a lack of pay for ICE attorneys, investigators, and administrative staff. It was not immediately clear why he was leaving. Under his tenure, the agency took the lead in Trump's mass deportation agenda, rapidly scaling up sweeping arrests across the country. Lyons faced intense pressure to carry out the administration's deportation goals, which included 3,000 arrests a day. Remember, they have this fancy number, 3,000 arrests a day. ICE has not met that number. He also oversaw a hiring surge that brought on 12,000 new employees, a record high number of people in immigration detention, and over 570,000 deportations. Steve Miller. Todd is a phenomenal patriot and dedicated leader who has been at the center of President Trump's historic effort to secure our homeland and reverse the Democrats' sinister border invasion. His courageous work at ICE has saved countless thousands of American lives and helped deliver safety and tranquility to millions of Americans. His resignation comes after several other staffing changes at the Border Department after more than a year of Trump's broader department after more than a year of Trump's second term. Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, a former Oklahoma senator, took over from Kristi Noem to run the agency as of last month. Madison Shahan, former deputy director. Yeah, he actually got voted in. I don't know why I said nominee earlier. We just didn't cover, because we knew. We knew why they wanted his seat empty. Madison Shahan, former deputy director at Immigration and Customs Enforcement, left her post at the start of the year to run for Congress. And top department spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin left her role in February. Remember, she was also kind of involved in money for Noem. Lyons resigned after testifying on Capitol Hill earlier on Thursday. He and other senior leaders at DHS testified on their agency's fiscal year 2027 budget requests, even as the agencies are still funded for fiscal year 2026. I'm deeply proud to stand alongside the dedicated men and women of ICE who work tirelessly every day to enforce our nation's immigration laws. The immigration laws you don't know. One of my top priorities is to ensure that ICE operates efficiently. So, he's gone. Why y'all stopping the tippity taps? Yeah, you guys, make sure we're still tapping. Let's get to 100,000 likes here as we just hit the top of the hour. I do appreciate you guys. And let's work on this goal, please. I would really appreciate if we could work on this goal for Friday. I have 8.5 left. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio. I would appreciate it very, very much if we could do a $1 train, $2 train, $5 train, start getting that down. ICE does so much more than that. Yeah. Sure. No, Schultzy, they just do this for fun. Here is one of our favorites, which is beer from the Cato Institute, going over that, yes, there has been a sharp decline in immigrants. The problem is my link tree isn't working. Hold on. If you might have to open it in browser if it's not. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. But my name is the same on all my platforms. It is just Monty Duh on all of the platforms. Yep, we do love an endless grift, bad views. You should know all about that, actually. Okay, so here is beer.
Like, what do you mean?
So thank you guys for your support, though. I do appreciate it, and I need it. It is my job. So yes, that's the drift. That's the grift. Cry about it. I don't care. Abolish the GAO is wild, Cobacano. So this is beer with the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank who does studies, talking about the fact that you guys all cried about illegal immigration, but what we're seeing is actually a drop in tourism and legal immigration, which we desperately need in our country. Desperately.
President often touts a sharp drop in illegal entries to the country, which have gone down by 50,000 entries per month since the end of 2024. But a new analysis from the Cato Institute suggests that's only part of the story. Legal immigration has fallen even more dramatically under the Trump administration, with 132,000 fewer people being admitted per month through legal pathways. For more on what's behind those numbers, I'm joined by that study's author, David Beer. He's the director of immigration studies at the Cato Institute. David, thanks for coming back on NewsHour.
Thanks for having me on.
This study shows that legal immigration has dropped sharply under this Trump administration. What specific policy changes are driving that gap?
Well, the biggest one by far is the suspension of immigrant visa processing for 75 countries around the world. These are mainly for family members of U.S. citizens who are coming to reunite with their family members here. Many.
Yeah, Lenati, they're right-leaning. They're a libertarian think tank.
Are spouses and minor children of U.S. citizens. In addition to that, they've also suspended all entries from about 40 countries. So 92 countries now face a de facto legal immigration ban by this administration.
Which actually, news that we did have from yesterday, which was one little bit of positive news. It does now go to the Senate, but a little bit of positive news. The House actually voted to protect 350,000 Haitian immigrants who had TPS. They voted to keep their TPS intact, to keep them here, because the administration was trying to send them back to a place that is not safe for them to go back to. And so actually we did have Republicans vote with Democrats in the House to protect upwards of 350,000 Haitian immigrants and keeping their TPS status. So we will take that win.
Encompassing about half of all legal immigrants to the United States. In addition to that, he's banned almost all refugees except for white South Africans, but even that group are being admitted at just about 10% of the rate that was previously being admitted before under the Biden administration. So those are some of the main ones, but every category. You look at H-1B visas for high-skilled workers, international students also facing very severe restrictions through a variety of different policy means to reduce legal immigration to the United States.
The president has been eager to tout this major drop in border arrests since he took office, going from about 47,000 arrests at the end of Biden's term to only about 8,600 last month. Illegal immigration, as you note, was already dropping under President Biden. So how much credit does President Trump get here?
Well, look, it's a continuation of a trend. So that's one of the main things that people need to understand. If you look at the peak and compare it to now, look, it's been an over 90% reduction, but almost 90% of that reduction happened under President Biden's administration before President Trump took office. And so that is in stark contrast to these cuts to legal immigration, where illegal immigration was falling and legal immigration was rising under Biden. The trends are now both down under President Trump.
You mentioned asylum and refugee status. A big part of this administration's approach has been focused on restricting access to asylum. Your study shows that asylum seekers have essentially been completely blocked from entering at the U.S.-Mexico border and fell 99.9% in the course of a few months. Who are these people that are getting turned away? And also, are they finding other ways to legally enter the United States, or are they just turned away completely?
Yeah, they're turned away completely. So these are people who are trying to come in request asylum at legal ports of entry. They're not trying to evade Border Patrol or cross the border illegally. This is something that every administration prior to this one had allowed people to do. In fact, even in 2019, DHS Secretary Nielsen had encouraged people who are applying for asylum to go to ports of entry to apply rather than cross the border illegally. And what ended up happening is now we've completely eliminated that option for people to apply to enter legally.
I thought you wanted them to do it legally. I thought that's what you wanted. Or are you now going to actually tell yourself the truth? Stop lying to yourself, because you were never lying to me. That you just hate brown people. You don't care about the legal way. That means nothing to you. Ack, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. For $5 towards your car if you haven't gotten it yet. LOL, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much, Ack. No, I haven't, because my savings is going well. I will say that, and that is thanks to you guys. Not only can I pay my bills, but I have savings, and thank you guys so much for that. It's the car company. We got the money orders. I've talked about this before, and I'll do it again because I'm honest about it. I don't give a fuck. We got the money orders to pay off the car. They did one of those deals, right? Like, we had this much left in the loan, but we'll do this smaller amount. If you pay this smaller amount off, you get your title, because we didn't have that much left on the loan. So we did the smaller amount deal that they had sent us. We got the money order for it. We sent it to them. They have not cashed it. They're like, it's processing, but they haven't cashed it out. So money orders expire. So we had to cancel those ones, do new ones. And they didn't catch those ones. So this is our third try. We keep calling them. I'll have to make sure my husband calls them again. They need to cash it out so that they can send me the title. Because the problem is, as much as I am saving, I don't know what the trade-in is going to be, because I don't have my title, so I can't even shop around. So it's a pain in the ass. But so thank you, Ack. I appreciate that. And also, thank you, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Thank you, Jolie, for the $5 on the Blue app, for appreciate all the work you do every day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. They waited so long on the last one, it went to the state's unclaimed funds. Did it really? I hate it here. Fucking ally. Why not get a cashier's check they last 6 months? I mean, we could try that. Well, we could try it now. We didn't have a bank account then, Audie, to be fair. It took them 8 months. Well, there's also that. And they were the ones, to be fair, when they talked to my husband on the phone, they were the ones who wanted a money order. They said, just do a money order. Motherfuckers.
The only way to get into the United States now is illegally if you're one of these people seeking protection from persecution in their home country.
When you step back and look at the broader picture here, what do these trends tell us about the direction of U.S. immigration?
So again, you guys told us forever you wanted to see legal immigration. You were fine with legal immigration. What you didn't know and didn't care to know is that asylum is legal, even if they are then rejected, which we never got to what happens. And I'm not going to tell you. You can research for yourself what happens if they are rejected and how that works. But you wanted it legally. Now, by stopping the legal process, all that this administration has done is pushed it underground. They have pushed it so that people will do it illegally. Is it really snowing that hard? Damn it.
Policy right now. Is this
But as every Coloradan will tell you, babe, we needed it. Lord knows we needed it.
About reducing immigration as a whole?
Absolutely. And you can even look at what the president himself has said. He said he wants to block immigration from the third world.
Rib tip. We're talking about immigration. Are you okay?
This is the type of rhetoric that we see from the far right online and in various policy forums. They want a reduction in both legal and illegal immigration. Many of the responses that I've received to my study are cheering it on and saying this is a great thing for the country. But it's really quite different from what President Trump sold his entire campaign around as being focused on illegal immigration and being in favor of legal immigration.
But apparently they're not. Apparently that lie detector test determined that was a lie. Okay. Where do I want to go now? that. So Scott Jennings said something funny. On CNN, fucking paid shill of a fucking monster. He says that Donnie showed their true colors when they enriched after we withdrew. Okay, yeah. You know, if you tell me I can't jump on the trampoline and I shook your hand and said, you're right, we can't jump on the trampoline, but also you have to, help out with some of this stuff. And then you take that away and then you get mad at me for jumping on the trampoline when the deal's not done anymore. Like, you're an idiot. I didn't see his outfit on Easter, actually. I don't know what he was dressed like, Lenati. But guys, keep supporting. I appreciate you guys. Where are we almost at? We're almost at 100,000 likes on TikTok. You guys are rocking the fuck out of it. I appreciate it. Over there on YouTube, you guys are kind of in and out. So make sure, mods, I love you so much. Really, insults are fine. I don't care as long as there's not slurs in it, right? Just as long as they're not slurring out, I really don't give a fuck what they say. So unless you're some of them that will come back, if you're just muting them for a little bit just to pick on them, totally fine. But let's not go crazy. We still want them in there. They're not brave enough to call in. Again, you can call and have a conversation based off of factually based evidence and not your feelings. 509-795-0412. We know they're not going to do that, but it's fine. Okay, puzzle piece. Sure. We'll do that so then I can see. So this is Scott Jennings about theocracy in our country.
Mitch McConnell and President George W. Bush and Ashley Etienne, who worked with the Vice President Kamala Harris and Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Scott, what do you make of what the father said? I think he made some compelling arguments there.
Yeah, I would counter and say that, A, we're not a theocracy in the United States, although...
I agree. Oh my God, I agree with Scott Jennings. We are not. I guess, MAGA, you're going to have to give it up. Give it up. We are not a theocracy in the United States. You're right.
That, A, we're not a theocracy in the United States, although our commanders-in-chief and military leaders often pray to God for success in battle. It's happened since...
Oh, we'll get into that.
George Washington knelt in the snow at Valley Forge. We aren't a theocracy. We have separation of church and state. It may be...
You're right. We do. Never say that they're the same again, guys. You hear him? This is one of your guys. He glazes Trump's taint all the time. You should love him. You love him. He's right.
That the American left is trying to, turn us into a theocracy, which would be quite a development. But
what?
We aren't a theocracy. We have separation of church and state. It may be that the American left is trying to, turn us into a theocracy, which would be quite a development.
The American left is trying to turn us into theocracy. Why? Because we're defending the Pope for his beliefs.
But he's a president of the United States, which is a political office. The Pope is a faith leader. Those are two different things. And they have had some disagreements, presidents and popes in the past. I mean, I think of Dwight Eisenhower's order of the day, D-Day, 1944. Let us beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking. I think every American believes that our invasion of France was a great and noble undertaking. And
sure, not sanctioned by God. Eisenhower was just praying to maybe a God he believes in. He's totally allowed to do that.
That it was fully appropriate for Eisenhower to ask God to support our just and noble cause. The president believes that it is a righteous, noble, moral cause to keep these fanatics in Iran from having a nuclear weapon. And that is the decision he's made as a political officer of the United States.
And I think
to declare a just and moral action in a war he started, but it's okay. The whole point was that Jennings made it clear that we are not a theocracy. And you know what? I'm glad that we don't have wild, blaspheming fanatics, religious fanatics. I'm glad that we don't have wild, blaspheming religious fanatics in the cabinet of the United States.
This past Sunday, I was sitting in church with my family, and our minister preached from the book of Mark, the 3rd chapter. And in the passage, Jesus entered a synagogue and healed a man with a withered hand. The Pharisees came to watch. And as the scripture reads, they came to see whether Jesus would heal him, or he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. You see, the Pharisees, the so-called...
That's not true, Kobakano. The left does not hate religion. particularly not me.
I love the Lord.
And self-appointed elites of their time, they were there to witness, to write everything down, to report. But their hearts were hardened. Even though they witnessed a literal miracle, it didn't matter.
Okay, so he's talking about the Pharisees, right? Jesus performed a miracle in front of them, but they tried to explain it away because they didn't care for Jesus, okay? Where's the correlation here? Because you're supposed to be doing a briefing on the war.
They were only there to explain away the goodness in pursuit of their agenda. As the passage ends, the Pharisees went out and immediately held counsel against him, how to destroy him. I sat there in church and I thought, our press are just like these Pharisees. Not all of you, but the legacy Trump-hating press. Your politically motivated animus for President Trump nearly completely blinds you from the brilliance of our American warriors.
So, if the media is the Pharisees, who's Jesus in this scenario? And what's the miracle that the Pharisees are ignoring? Can you guys tell me? Let's do a little thought exercise. See if you can understand correlation and analogy. If the Pharisees, who saw a miracle from Jesus and did not, celebrate it, did not finally believe, and the media are the Pharisees, who is Jesus in this scenario, and what is the miracle? Is he comparing Trump to Jesus and saying that Trump's attack, unprovoked, on Iran was the miracle that the media of the Pharisees are not seeing? Because he talks about the brilliance of the American military. Nobody, including myself, and nobody have I ever seen, is talking about the military themselves. The actual people, the boots on the ground, the people who actually do the job. I don't have any issue with them. They are doing their job. They're doing fantastic with what they're being given from this fucking feckless, idiotic administration. They put their lives on the line while Donald Trump sends them to their doom. I have no issue with them. I have issue with Trump. I have issue with Hegseth now using scripture in comparison to war as if this is some sort of holy war. I have issue with that. I don't know why you guys don't. That's weird to me.
Notable today. It's really notable today how he seems to be speaking in terms of a holy war. It's interesting, too, this coming on the same week that Trump depicted himself as Jesus. But the insinuation from Hegseth was that doubting Trump or being skeptical of the war is like doubting Christ. He's essentially making it sound like the question of the war is a question of the true will of God. He's doubling down on the black.
Why is questioning Trump
Blasphemy of
bad? So Hegseth also talks about the media and choosing a side. This isn't about sides. This is about critique. And that in and of itself is the problem. You think that this is football politics. You have to choose a side. It's not. Their job as the media is to ask questions, hard questions. That's their job. Their job is not to glaze him, or else we are just North Korea. Their job is to be a pest. Their job is to be annoying and ask questions that you don't necessarily want to answer. But instead, Pete Hegseth cries that they're not on their side.
Speaking of choosing wisely, a note to the press corps, to the American media. As I just can't help but notice the endless stream of garbage, the relentlessly negative coverage, you cannot resist peddling. Despite the historic and important success of this effort and the success of our troops. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what side some of you are actually on.
They're not supposed to be on a side. Because they are the media. They're not supposed to be on a side because they are the media.
Incredibly unpatriotic. This same press corps, not
It is the most patriotic thing in the world to require transparency and to criticize your government. That is the most patriotic thing I can think of. Our country was founded on critiquing the crown. We said, we don't want you to control us anymore. We don't like that we can't print bad things about you in our newspaper. We can't talk bad about the king. We don't like that. We started an entire revolution about it. Yes, bring back the fairness doctrine, also me, a W. Our country was founded on talking shit of our overlords. That is the most patriotic thing you can do. Don't let them take that from you. Don't let them propagandize you to be North Korea. Don't let them do it.
this exact same press corps, but at least an older press corps, bent over backwards during the Biden administration to explain away, the disastrous and disgraceful Afghanistan withdrawal.
Literally not true. You can find articles to this day from that time period. You just search the specific year. You will find stuff about the media going after Biden about the Afghanistan withdrawal. I actually looked up something about a week ago because we were talking about it. Because Mark Milley and there was another general during that time who came out and actually contradicted Biden. They said that they had warned him about the quick pullout and the timeline and the way in which he was planning to do it with the airport, and that they anticipated there was going to be harm, that there were going to be casualties. Joe Biden said, no, they never advised me on that. And they came out and they said, absolutely the fuck we did. And do you know how the news reported it? That they were contradicting Biden. That's it. They didn't say Biden told the truth and the generals didn't. So why do you let them lie to you? That's not true. They were critiquing Biden about the withdrawal in Afghanistan. Absolutely. And they should have. It was a mess. Donald Trump set up that mess, but Biden didn't make it any better. And they absolutely ripped him for it. Are you kidding me? The rewrite of history is wild, and you guys just let them do it. Why? Because you don't like Joe Biden. That's fine. I don't like him either. But they damn sure were ripping into him in the media, and it is a lie that they're only going after Trump. They glazed everybody else, and they liked everybody else, and they wrote really nice articles about him, but they won't write nice articles about Trump. That's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit.
You called it the greatest airlift in American history. It's almost...
Where? Let's look for that, actually. Greatest airlift in American history. Who wrote that? Because we can talk shit about him. Let's do it. Let's find it and talk shit about it. Let's see. Headline, Afghan withdrawal. Let's see. President Biden characterized it as the, quote, largest airlift in U.S. history. That's not greatest. Not finding anything. Do you guys want to see? Just in case you think I'm lying to you. Here. This is what I searched. Ready? So we can go through it together. The greatest airlift in American history. Headline, Afghanistan. That's withdrawal. Again, this is AI, which I hate. August 2021, Afghanistan withdrawal as the largest airlift in history. I'm trying to find, greatest. What's this? Historic Afghan airlift inspires pride. This is from the Air Force, so maybe not the leftist media. You should probably talk to the Air Force about their propaganda on their website. That's fair. You want to critique them for that, that's totally fine. But that's the Air Force, not the leftist media. So again, not there. Let's look. That's Hegseth from yesterday. Pulls out of Afghanistan after massive airlift. That's not greatest airlift. Longest war ends as final flight leaves Kabul. Airlift. Twitter. Again, there's the Air Force one. Facebook. Stars and Stripes. Facebook. Last troops. Where's greatest? Where's the greatest? So he lied, right? He fucking lied? Because the media didn't say that? Do you see how easy that was? Don't just listen to the shit he says. Actually look it up. Was that hard?
Almost like you're cheering only for one side.
Except there was no cheering. Except that there was no cheering. You crybaby little bitch. And don't worry, I'll link all of those. Those will be in my outline. And here is, just on the same vein as we're here, just remember, religious fanatics, because we don't want religious fanatics. Here's Corey Nels in regards to Trump.
I believe that Donald Trump is better than sliced bread. I think he's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's got a very difficult job. Pope's got a tough job, got issues in the church. But Donald Trump has a very, very difficult job to do, the toughest job in the world. I believe that.
Let's hear him say that again.
Donald Trump is better than sliced bread. I think he's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job.
He is almost a second coming. You guys are unwell. You guys are just unwell. You better watch how you're talking to Casey. I would watch it. Scott.
Who's going after my Casey?
Well, fuckwits.
Oh. Help is on the way, dear!
They didn't do their nuclear program with Trump. Scott, sweetie, when did he pull out of the JCPOA? Scott, why don't you call in? Scott? 509-795-0412. We can talk about the timeline of the JCPOA. I would love to do that with you. I really would. Go ahead. Okay. Let's see where I want to go with this. So let's go to RFK. Since Chelsea doesn't like when I talk about Trump, let's go to RFK. Guys, make sure we're still doing all of the good things. I would appreciate it. And I know I feel like I should restart on YouTube because there's not that many of you. And that's where you all come from. So I might do that while we're sitting here watching this, but make sure we're still doing all the good things. I have 80 left in my goal today, guys, and I've only got like 30 more minutes. I might stay on a little longer to try and get this goal completed. But I would appreciate it if we could start a $1 train or a $2 train, guys. This is how I pay my bills. So if we could get working on that, I would appreciate it very, very much. So RFK was in front of Congress. I think he's still in front of Congress today. And he's talking to Representative Doggett, who's going to ask him about the fact that there were 850 people within the federal government who were suspended for suspended for fraud. They were suspected of committing fraud within insurance for ACA, right? The ACA allowed for you to have a marketplace to pick your insurance from. And the people who were administering insurance were being suspended because they were found to be fraudulent. So, like you guys love, Biden and the Biden administration was going after fraud. 850 people were suspended. Do we want to guess what happened to them under the Trump administration?
Under your authority, CMS
and I apologize. It's very quiet. He's old. Try to listen as best you can.
Under your authority, CMS fully reinstated all 850 brokers and agents who had been suspended back in 2024 because of suspected ACA fraud. Can you guarantee to our committee today that every one of those suspected brokers and agents was thoroughly investigated and found to be innocent of any fraud, any wrongdoing, or criminal activity?
I can tell you.
Can you, sir? Yes or no? You can't answer that. That is very troubling, I must say. 850 people accused of fraud, suddenly reinstated.
So the Biden administration found that 850 people, yeah, he was talking while he was muted, but apparently Doggett was able to hear him to say he didn't have an answer. 850 people suspended under the Biden administration for suspected fraud of the ACA system. And Donald Trump administration reinstated them. Sounds like par for the course for Trump. lovely golf analogy for him, since that's the only thing he seems to understand, is that, yeah, oh, you're telling me he reinstates and pardons fraudsters? I'm shocked. I'm shocked, because he is a fraudster.
All at once. Do you know whether any of these suspected fraudsters who were reinstated...
Eric, go ahead and call in and tell me where he's creating jobs and he's bringing jobs and making money for America. Show me that.
...so swiftly were subject to any additional oversight under your authority? Have there been guardrails that have been put in place to ensure those 850 agents don't continue to commit fraud?
Congressman, I'm a lifelong Democrat, so I was shocked.
I don't care your party affiliation. We're all against frauds.
I was shocked when I came into this agency.
Were you shocked to see that 850 people who were suspended for fraud had been reinstated all at once?
I was shocked to learn that President Biden had directed my agency to stop all program integrity activities and focus on enrollment.
Taking back my time, sir.
And that's what caused the problem that you're talking about.
Joe Biden supposedly, allegedly, stopping program assertees and focusing on enrollment is the reason that 850 fraudsters were reinstated under the Trump administration? How much longer can you use that excuse?
What about Biden?
Him talking about enrollment when his administration suspended 850 suspected fraudsters is the reason Donald Trump reinstated the fraudsters?
The administration was the one that suspended 850 suspected fraudsters. Your administration was the one that let them all go back to work.
And that's true. Donald Trump and his admin and RFK reinstated them. And then this one, he's asking him about whether they're soft on fraud, which apparently we know is true.
As far as fraud, Paul Wazak.
Kobakano, call in then. How am I lacking? You guys always tell me I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. She's misinformed. She's uneducated. I lack the ability to conceptualize what they're saying. Call in. Because a judge made him. Gapper, if that's true, I would love to see it. Can you show me a court order that forced them to reinstate the 850 suspected fraudsters?
As far as fraud, Paul Wazak is one who had $10 million of wages that he kept, some of to buy a $2 million yacht. His mother contributed to the Trump campaign, and he no longer has to pay $4.4 million or stay in prison. Mr. Secretary, I want to know what role you play in the soft on crime approach to healthcare fraudsters. Have you recommended that any of these healthcare fraudsters should get pardons or commutations, or did the campaign contributions speak for themselves?
I don't think there's anybody in this country. I don't think there's anybody
The man doesn't know how to work a button.
in this country who believes that this administration is soft on fraud. We're the first administration.
It's just the fraudsters who have the money in the cottage industry to get themselves pardoned and not even have to restitute what they've taken from those they've defrauded. It's really a disgrace. I'm surprised you would defend it.
It's not a credible story.
It's a fact, sir. It's not a story. It's a fact.
Mr. Kelly.
More fraudsters pardoned than any president in American history.
Your time.
And that's also true. And you can find it on his website for the DOJ commutations and pardons list. You can see all the people that he has pardoned so far, and you can see what they have been pardoned for. And a majority of them are for fraud. W's to Rhett. Thank you, Rhett, for the $5 on PayPal. Tell a Trump supporter 2 + 2 is 4, and they will say, what about 2 + 3? When you tell them that's not the same equation, they will say fake news. Absolutely 100% accurate scenario. Absolutely 100% accurate. They will not answer the question that they were asked, and when you try to give them something else, they will move on from it. I do want to come back to RFK. I'm not done, but I'm going to bounce around for a second because I just want to prove how true that is. I'm going to give you 2 separate incidents of Donald Trump doing exactly that. If we don't like it, we just call it fake.
Okay, and then on gas prices, how much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last 3-4 years.
Eric, you said under the Democrats, oil was at $140 a barrel. Today it went down to 10. What? You okay? Here, Eric, hold on. Hold on. Gotta do this again. Oh, I have it right here. Perfect. Okay. That's not $10 per barrel, by the way. Look, this is crude oil per barrel, okay? Okay. As of right now, because the number constantly changes, 84.20. Again, here we go. What was it when Joe Biden left office? January 20th, 2025. It was 60.98. So what? Oh, are you talking about up here? Oh, that year you guys lived and died in. Got it. 2022. Cool. Except Joe Biden was president all the way up until here. So that's tough, isn't it? Oh, I'm not on. That's why it's been fucking up for me. There it is. 74. Sorry. 74. When he left. $74 a barrel when he left. It's $10 more than that. How did I twist the facts? Eric, call in and tell me. How'd I twist the facts? The facts are Joe Biden left on January 20th of 2025. Oil per barrel was $74.58 a barrel. Donald Trump, president right now, $84.39. They'll continue to drop only if the deal holds, which I hope it does. But again, this was a problem we didn't need to have. Why? Because before it started, we were down here. We were at 67. He actually brought it lower than Joe Biden had it. But he decided to start a war, and now we're here. I wouldn't be bragging about that if I were you. But here's Donald Trump with information he doesn't like. We turn it into fake news.
Rid of a nuclear weapon with the danger that...
Yes, Mike, we're at war. Why? Why are we at war? He campaigned on no new wars, idiot. He lied to you, idiot. He started a war we didn't need to do, idiot.
That entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last 3-4 days. I know, and that's what ABC says. But the fact is that if you...
They just told him that gas was at $4 a gallon. The average was $4 a gallon. His response to that fact was, that's what ABC says. It's not what ABC says. You cannot lie to the American people about what their fucking gas station, there's one on almost every corner, looks like. They take those and they get the average. I know you guys didn't do good at math. I'm not really great at math, but I know how to do an average. The average gas price in the United States of America, when they asked him this, was $4 a gallon. Try again.
Look at the stock market's up. Everything's doing really well. And the big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. So very important is that...
Eric, it's not. I just showed you the chart where it's not. So maybe you're just a bot.
Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that.
Did they agree to that? Did they? But also again, I thought that we obliterated it in June of last year. I thought we did that. But it's fine because there's more fake numbers because facts are not doing well for him. So we're going to go with his feelings because that's all you guys have.
Don't forget, we're having some fake inflation because of the fuel, the energy prices, which everybody said was going to...
What the fuck is fake inflation? He might mean, if we're translating for him, which you guys love to do, so I'll do it. I'll help you out here. You don't have to do it this time. What he means is temporary. We are having some temporary inflation. Curtis, what the fuck is that? Your neighbor is having sex with your girlfriend? Maybe. Good for them. Good for them, honestly. Todd, it's not a debate show because nobody calls in. If you could get them to find their ball sack, then maybe it would be a debate show, but it's not. So fake inflation.
Just don't forget, we're having some fake inflation because of the fuel, the energy prices.
It's fake. Because he started a war and so energy went up. But by the way, as Ari loves to point out, which is true, you can look at the BLS reports. If you don't know what that is, the Bureau of Labor Statistic reports on core inflation that they release every month for the previous month. You can see where energy costs were already going up prior to him starting this war. So that's not true. Energy prices were already going up. The inflation for energy was already up. I know, I have to repeat it multiple times because I don't think you guys get it.
Which everybody said was going to $250. We were talking about that, Scott. They said $250, $300. I mean, today, what was it? It finished at $89 or $90, right? And that's in the, we haven't settled yet. Maybe we won't, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
I hope so. But again, I'm not giving you credit for fixing something that you started. I refuse. You guys can glaze his taint all you want to. Maybe he'll let you maybe he'll finger your hole a little bit if you do. I don't know. That's not for me to say. Back to RFK. Guys, I've got about 15 minutes. Again, I might stay a little longer, see if we can finish this RFK stuff. And also, we're just not rocking it on the goal, but you guys are rocking it on the taps. And for that, I appreciate you. I know we dropped in numbers. Don't know what that is about. I guess maybe there's probably some sort of man on that you guys would much rather watch. That's usually a thing that happens, but oh well. I would appreciate if we could keep tapping that screen, sharing the live out, doing your daily. Heart me if you haven't done so. Remember, you can repost it, add it to your story. You think I should reset? It's 11:45. If I do, I'll do it at the top of the hour. If I reset, I'll do it at 12, and we'll keep going. So this is Sanchez to RFK talking about how we've suspended vaccine programs, but we are funding ads for Kid Rock.
Now, one thing that I find incredible is that you suspended this pro-vaccine messaging campaign, but somehow you're spending taxpayer dollars to drink milk shirtless in a hot tub with Kid Rock. And somehow you think that's a better public health message
Your time is
than
expired
informing
by a
the
minute.
public about the importance of vaccines?
Gentlelady's
Really?
time is expired.
Really? I yield back.
You don't have anything to yield. Mr. Smucker.
Why are we suspending programs to study vaccines that save lives and instead using money? We watched it. Unfortunately, we watched the video. We had to mute it so we didn't get copyright. But so that they could drink milk in a hot tub together, two old men. Why would we do that? Because vaccines are meant to save kids from diseases that we had eradicated.
The measles outbreak in Texas killed an unvaccinated 6-year-old, the first such death in a decade. So simple yes or no question. It's not that we don't want to let you answer, it's that we all have limited time, and you have plenty of time to answer questions, and you have plenty of time to give testimony at the beginning. So simple yes or no answer will do here. Do you agree with the majority of doctors that the measles vaccine could have saved that child's life in Texas?
It's possible, certainly.
Okay, thank you. I want to measles.
It's possible. Well, then why did you spend your time? Because he changed his stance on that. I don't know if you guys remember. He talked about it as if it was dangerous and then changed his mind and said you should get vaccinated You should get yourself and your kids vaccinated for measles. So here is Mike Thompson, who's going to ask him again about measles. Because his stance changed.
In 2000, measles were declared eliminated in the United States. And I've got a graph behind me that shows that. Under 4 years of President Biden, there were 514 measles cases in the U.S. Under just 1 year of President Trump, there are nearly 2,300 cases. Mr. Secretary, kids have died because measles is running rampant under your watch. in large part because President Trump allowed your conspiracy theories to run our public health. Americans need serious leadership grounded in evidence and science. Instead, we have you and this president elevating misinformation and undermining basic public health. HHS should be led by professionals who respect science and data, listen to doctors, and put patients first, not by rhetoric, not by conspiracy, and not by ignoring established medical facts. So today, Mr. Secretary, this is not just about policy differences. It's about whether this department is going to protect the health of the American people or put them at greater risk.
We eradicated this disease. We eliminated it from the United States. Now, what credentials does RFK have? What credentials does he have to be in health? Because I was actually shocked. I thought they'd put him in EPA. That made more sense. He was an environmental lawyer. It's not where they put him.
Mr. Secretary, let's start with an easy one. Do you have a medical or public health degree?
No.
No?
No.
Yet you're overruling doctors, scientists, and public health experts across our country. Your dangerous conspiracy theories are undermining safe and effective vaccines. Mr. Secretary, I want to echo my friend, the ranking member's comments about polio. I remember as a kid, kids older than me in school with me who got polio. They live with the lasting impacts of that infection for the rest of their lives. I was fortunate to get the polio vaccine, and I was fortunate to never get polio because of that vaccine.
As was Mitch McConnell, by the way. Don't know if you know that. Okay, so there's that. This one, this was rough. This is, I hope I say it right, it's Sewell. She's going to address RFK and confront him about something he said in a podcast, particularly about Black kids having autism. And he's going to deny he said it, but guess what, bitch? We have receipts.
Mr. Secretary, you've made a number of outlandish and frankly disturbing comments both before and during your tenure as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I want to draw your attention to one of those times. In a 2024 podcast interview, you suggested that Black children on ADHD medication should be reparented. You said every Black kid is now just standardly put on Adderall, SSRI, benzos, which are known to induce violence, and that those children are going to have to go somewhere to get reparented. There is a lot to unpack in that comment. I know that you've already answered several of the questions I was going to ask, and so I'm just going to rephrase them. Mr. Secretary, you've already admitted that you are not board-certified physician, and you've already admitted that you did not go to medical school. Have you ever reparented, or parented, I should say, a Black child?
I don't even know what that phrase means, and I doubt
just
that
a yes
I
or
said
no
it.
answer.
I doubt that I said that
it.
phrase.
You
No,
absolutely
I'm not going to answer something that I didn't say.
You absolutely said it.
Oh, I'd like to hear the recording.
So to be
Because
clear,
it doesn't
sir,
make any
I'm
sense.
I'm
I
gonna
don't even know
reclaim
what
my
it
time.
means.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
And by the way,
so to be
of
clear, you're not a
26
doctor, you have no medical degree, and you have no formal medical training.
As
and
have-
you have never
as have-
parented a
as
Black
have
child.
24 of the
suggesting
26
that
HHS
government-
secretaries
Mr.
have not had
Secretary,
medical
This is my
degrees.
time. And I say to the chairman, I want to reclaim my time. So you are not a doctor, have no formal medical training, and you've never parented a Black child, and yet you are suggesting that the federal government should take Black children away from their families and reparent them and send them off to some wellness farm instead of providing them with evidence-based
You're just
medical
making
care.
stuff up.
I am absolutely not making this up. Mr. Secretary, in your opinion, what factors should the federal government consider when reparenting a Black child who has been on ADHD or ADD? That's
I don't even know what
rhetorical,
you're
sir.
talking about, Congressman.
I
don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what reparenting
disorder
even means.
He doesn't know what reparenting means. We'll let her finish in a minute. But let's remind him, I guess, because he never said it. He doesn't even know what reparenting is.
Can go for free. Any of them who is dependent on drugs, either legal drugs or illegal drugs, psychiatric drugs, which every black kid is now just standard put on Adderall, SSRIs, benzos, which are known to induce violence. And those kids are going to have a chance to go somewhere and get reparented, to live in a community where there'll be no cell phones, no screens.
I thought he didn't know what reparented was. He just told her after she quoted this. He told her, 1, he didn't say it. He did not say it. 2, he said he doesn't even know what reparenting is.
Illegal drugs, psychiatric drugs, which every black kid is now just standard put on Adderall, SSRIs, benzos, which are known to induce violence. And those kids are going to have a chance to go somewhere and get reparented, to live in a community where there'll be no cell phones, no screens. You'll actually have to talk to people. And the model for this is a community that I had direct contact with because a family member of mine went there, and it's called San Padrignano's in Italy.
So it sounds like he does know what re-education is. So let's try that again.
And send them off to some wellness farm instead of providing them with evidence-based.
You're just making stuff up.
I am absolutely not making this up. Mr. Secretary, in your opinion, what factors should the federal government consider when reparenting a black child who has been on ADHD or ADD?
I don't even know what you're talking about, Congressman. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what reparenting even means.
I don't either, but you said that.
I did not say that.
Mr. Secretary.
Except you fucking did, you fucking liar. I'm so tired of them lying and you guys just slurping it up. Hi, Blue.
Hi. I just wanted to remind people of the fact, I don't know if you had this on your outline as well, but a year ago during RFK's confirmation, he also stated that Black people should be on a different vaccine schedule than white people because our immune systems are better.
I did not have that on there, but yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, he has a history of harmful rhetoric around Black health.
But he didn't say it. Lies straight to y'all's face, and you don't care.
For Black families in the United States, the issue of family separation is not new. Our nation has a long and painful history of separating Black children from their families. During slavery, Black children were taken from their parents and sold with no regard for their humanity. And after slavery, Black families continued to face forced separations through Jim Crow laws, discriminatory policing, and child welfare systems that too often assumed that Black parents were unfit. Even today, Black children are removed from their homes at higher rates than white children, not because of their greater harm, but because of longstanding bias and built-in institutionalism. For you to suggest that Black families are not capable of raising their own children is deeply offensive. Sir, you are the Secretary of Health and Human Services for the world's most powerful country, and your words matter. When you suggest that reparenting Black children, when you sow doubt about the safety of vaccines, and when you promote unproven statements that have no basis in science, you endanger the lives of everyone across this nation. Those children have parents.
And you lied. I don't know when you get, like, you guys aren't going to get it. You guys are just broken. You're racist. You're bigots. You're stupid. That's just the way it is. What was this one? There was a recent study that came out, very, very recent. It was a Danish study that came out that said their findings were that there was not a link of Tylenol to autism. Tylenol does not cause autism. We have had multiple studies, but this is the most recent. So they asked RFK about that. This is fucking Virginia Fox asking him about that. Before I do, hold on, let me make sure. Thank you, Jumar, for the $2 train. Thank you, Jumar. Choo choo. I do the $2 train over here. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Jumar. Have a good weekend. I appreciate you.
I have heard today that a new Danish study just came out finding no connection between Tylenol and autism. What is your reaction to that study?
The study is a garbage study. It should be retracted. The study took the medical records of 1 million Danish women, and it compared women who got Tylenol during pregnancy to people who did not.
So exactly like a study should be run, okay? Women who took Tylenol while pregnant against women who didn't.
The problem is the way it determined whether they got Tylenol during pregnancy was by prescriptions. So only 2% of the people in the study got Tylenol during pregnancy, according to the endpoint.
I would like to see the study. I would like to read the study and see if that's true, or if they had to, what do you call it? Like release the information, express the information that they were taking it in a non-prescription capacity. Because I highly doubt that they ran it that shitty, that it was just done that way. I highly doubt that. But again, we've had previous studies that show that that's not a connection.
I'm so confused by the Wolf King's statement in the tube chat saying, "I'm black and I'm doing just fine. My parents are strict. Democrats love lying." What?
You're doing just fine. Your parents are strict. He was talking about reparenting children being prescribed SSRIs who have ADHD. And what did I lie about? And I'm also not a Democrat.
What did the Democrats lie about? What are you talking about? Y'all are not okay.
They just have to go off on things we didn't say, never said,
Right.
things we weren't talking about.
I'm also black and I'm doing fine. My parents were also fairly strict. But I don't know how that made Democrats liars.
Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find it. Because then I can read it later. If I can find the actual study. Acetaminophen exposure during pregnancy and the risk of autism in offspring. Is this the one? Ugh, of course, that's through a fucking... You have to have a... Researchers... What do they call it? Like a student license to get access to that one. I'll look. So I'll keep this Google page up for me later. I want to look. I want to read about it. But... This is Macbeth, and Macbeth is going to confront him again about the fact that he talked about autism, quote, destroying families, which is a disgusting way to talk about people on the spectrum, even if they have what he's going to talk about as profound. These people, these children, their families are not destroyed. Their families just look a little different. And that is okay. The problem is you guys and your fucking eugenics thinking that families have to look one way, the white way. Yeah, I said it exactly as I meant to say it. It's not a bad thing. It does not destroy families to have autism in your family.
During your first press conference as secretary in April of last year, you said, and I'm quoting, "Autism destroys families, that these are kids who will never pay taxes, never hold a job, never play baseball, never write a poem, or go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted," which I would also like to submit for the record. The truth is that the majority are reclaiming
without objection.
Thank you. Thank you. The truth is that the majority of people on the autism spectrum can do all the things that you have
Of course they
mentioned.
can, and I never said they couldn't.
Some people with...
He did, though. Except he did, because that was part of his hearing, his hearings as well. He said that there's things that they can't do. That's not true.
Disabilities do need direct care to assist them with activities like going to the bathroom, but that does not mean that they are somehow less than or unable to lead fulfilling and productive lives, as you
And
have
nobody said
implied.
they were.
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm asking you here today, Secretary, to apologize for spreading lies about people with autism and their families. Will you apologize for those remarks that you've made?
Of course not. Then if you let me explain, I'm happy to. I was talking about people with profound autism, not people who are, who have lower impact autism. I'm talking about people who are nonverbal, non-toilet trained, head banging, stimming, toe walking.
Okay, then since
hundreds and hundreds of
you
people
are-
have written me
since you are
letters thanking
explaining what
me
you really
for those
meant,
comments.
since you're explaining what you
They still didn't destroy their family.
Stuff like that, talking about non-toilet trained, stimming, people who are on the spectrum. The other thing that he's doing is he's generalizing everything. When you talk about people on the spectrum, when you talk about people who have autism, the behavioral struggles is not a clear-cut, concise of a person. I dealt with many of students who had behavioral issues. That wasn't every single child who was diagnosed or on the spectrum or who might be on the spectrum. That's not everyone who is on the spectrum or possibly diagnosed.
Well, no, but he's not saying that.
No, I know.
Okay. He's
The
not
thing
saying that.
I'm saying him generalizing it all together as if it's the same thing is
He's
incorrect.
not. He's not. He's saying that that is what he counts as profound, people on the further side of the spectrum.
I just mute.
He's not saying that all of those things are in one person. He's talking about maybe they're not toilet trained. Maybe they headbang. So he's talking about people on the profound spectrum. Now, he is still wrong and incorrect in the fact that it destroys families. It doesn't. Again, your family just looks different. We also have behavioral therapies for this. I've talked about it. Olive worked in it. My brother currently works in it. He's actually going to be starting a new position, hopefully, doing some of the programming to train other people to do this. So
Behavioral therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing damage control from his previous statements to try to clarify.
really meant. Can
Hashtag
you
blame
apologize
Huh?
Hashtag blame Olive.
to the thousands of families that do not believe what you're just telling us now?
No, because if you look at my
You
comments,
refuse
it
to
was clear
apologize.
who I
I
was
find that
talking
very,
about.
very sad.
So now he refuses to apologize.
I find that very, very sad. It should be very easy for you to apologize if that's not, in fact, what
Those
you
are
meant.
crocodile tears, Congresswoman.
And for all the families that have children with autism, I'm very sad
listen,
to hear you say
if
that,
you wanna
because
deal
those
with
families
autism,
are
God.
dealing with the kinds of conditions that many people just don't even understand.
If
The
you wanna-
president is
if
trying
you
to
wanna
close
deal
the
with
Department
autism,
of
come and talk to
Education.
me. If you
If
want
that
to sound
happened,
To be fair, Kayla, it is a thing. They can enter clips into the record. The problem is, depending on the hearing and the chairman of the hearing, is how much time they're given. And depends on who shows up to the hearing, too. So we saw a lot of clips for acting director Todd Lyons for ICE. We saw a lot of clips get played. They were very short clips. There weren't as many people in the committee hearing that he was in front of, the congressional hearing he was in front of, so they had more time. They're only given a small amount of time. So it's a lot easier sometimes to just quote them from their transcript, from their testimony, than it is to play the whole clip, which sucks. But they're just not given enough time. Okay, so there's that, and then we'll move on here. Oh, actually, we'll be able to finish this. It won't be too late. He's being asked about coordination with the EPA, because the HHS does coordinate with the EPA in regards to regulation for the health of people, which should be something he's great at, because again, he was an environmental lawyer. He really got his big one against Roundup, right? Against glyphosate, going after that fucking pesticide and how bad it was. So studies showed that it was carcinogenic and possibly causing cancer, getting people sick who were using it, especially corporations, big farms that were using it on their crops. And he won that. And so we had bigger regulations on glyphosate. Herbicide, thank you, not pesticide. Herbicide, thank you, babe. Garden man. But what we what we've seen now is that the Trump administration literally came out, the EPA came out and said they're going to start promoting glyphosate again. So don't understand. He literally sold his soul and everything he fought for money. But here he's going to ask RFK about coordination with the EPA. Instead of answering that question, he's going to get mad and admonish the representative. No, don't apologize for correcting me. I have no problem with that.
You don't coordinate with the EPA, Mr. Secretary? Your department is not involved with rolling back protections that would increase exposure to heavy materials, even though it affects people's health? Is that what you're telling me? You don't coordinate?
I'd say calm down, Congressman.
Don't tell me. Look, healthcare is personal to my constituents like Deja and Richard. Do not tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I thought when I saw the clip yesterday. Absolutely a microaggression. He's not even...
He hadn't told any white congressperson to calm down when they raised their voice.
He's not even angry. He's saying, you're not coordinating with the EPA. We have seen the EPA lift regulations on things that are going to cause heavy metals to be in our environment. And you said you're all about health, make America healthy again. And his response to that, instead of answering, is to have a microaggression and tell him to calm down.
Materials, even though it affects people's health? Is that what you're telling me? You don't coordinate?
I'd say calm down, Congressman.
Don't tell me. Look, healthcare is personal to my constituents like Deja and Richard. Do not tell me to calm down. Healthcare is real. And if you can't answer basic questions, then maybe come prepared next time.
I'm answering the question. You don't give me the chance to answer. You haven't given me a chance to answer.
You said you
didn't answer your question. You cut me off when I started to answer.
You said you
started screaming
did not
at
consult.
me.
Okay, the time is expired. We're going to move on. Mr.
People
Yacob.
scream when they don't have much to say.
I scream all the time, and I have a lot of information. That's bullshit. That's like that. When you cuss, it means you're not intelligent, but actually studies have shown that if you cuss more, you're actually pretty intelligent. It's bullshit, and he didn't answer the
Obviously
question.
don't have anything to say because you can't even uphold what it is you're doing to reduce
Horsford,
cost and coverage. You don't.
It's the MAGA way that they will argue. They will attack the way that you are speaking instead of the content of your statement.
Mm-hmm. A few more clips with RFK. This is Representative Cesar, and he's going to talk about the fact that millions of people, millions of Americans are going to lose health care, and that HHS has sanctioned this. They're not fighting it with the big, beautiful bill. And again, we go back to the fear-mongering of the brown people because it's the only thing they have.
Do you know how many billionaires you've met with in your time in office?
I would have no idea.
Well, at least at a cabinet meeting, there's, of course, Donald Trump, Mr. Lutnick, Ms. McMahon, Mr. Musk, so at least 4 or 5. So we've established here you've met with a good number of CEOs, some billionaires. I hear you've even met with Kid Rock. So here's my question. The Trump policy that passed through the Congress was to give some of these ultra-wealthy people a tax cut. And part of paying for it, the big ugly bill gives the ultra-wealthy a massive tax cut. It's well documented. But part of what pays for it is kicking 15 million Americans off of their affordable health care. And you're Secretary of Health. So here's my question. You've met with the CEOs, you've met with some billionaires. How many people have you met with? How many Americans have you met with that have lost or about to lose their health insurance?
Well, I've met with the advocacy community on virtually everything that we regulate. I've met with more tribes and tribal leaders than any HHS secretary in history.
And I'm grateful for your meeting with tribes and advocacy organizations, but have you met with everyday Americans who have lost their health insurance just this last year?
I meet with everyday Americans every day.
And have you had conversations with those Americans who will lose their health insurance this coming year or next year because of the cuts to Medicaid? Have you met with people who have
First
lost their
of all,
health insurance?
First of all, there are no cuts in Medicaid. There are no cuts in Medicaid.
Read the bill. What do you mean there are no cuts to Medicaid? That is a lie. Again, lying to your face. You guys don't care. You don't care about cutting Medicaid either. Even if he told you the truth that there were cuts, you wouldn't care because you hate poor people, even though many people you know, if not yourself, are probably on Medicaid.
Look at the CBO report from this week. We are increasing Medicaid spending by 47%
So we've got
over the next 10 years.
So over $1 trillion comes out over the next 10 years. Report after report says 15 million people could lose their health insurance.
How is that a cut?
Okay, let's talk about
that. That is only a cut in Washington, D.C.
Have you met with any of the 1.4 million people who have lost their health insurance just this last year from dropping off of Obamacare? Have you sat down and talked to those folks about the fact they won't have their health insurance again?
They're almost all illegal immigrants.
Where's the proof of that? That almost all of the 1.4 million who have lost their Medicaid, their health care last year, were illegal immigrants. Where is it?
Almost all illegal immigrants. How many illegal? Well, let them tell it. There's 20 million.
20 million. Judy, you said, I can't comprehend. You know what? You're about the fourth or fifth person today who said, I can't comprehend, and yet nobody is willing to call in to explain it to me. Explain to me what I am missing.
Because they can't. They're scared. They don't like being wrong, so they're going to stay in the comments and be right to themselves.
Yeah, because they can't explain it either. They're just like, well, but Trump said it, and they said it, and so I believe it. And Obamacare isn't healthcare. That's not what we were talking about. We're talking about Medicaid, B-Dog. The ACA is not Medicaid, B-Dog.
Well, you know what? It sounds like you haven't met with folks like Portia in my district.
We found 1.5 million illegal immigrants illegally collecting Medicaid.
I would love to see that, where they have found 1.5 million illegal immigrants collecting Medicaid. Would love to see the numbers on that and the data and where they got it from.
Secretary, there are people like Portia in Buda, Texas, whose health insurance costs went from $100 a month to $500 a month. People like my constituent Shauna in San Marcos, Texas, her premium went from $250 to $750 a month. Now, $500 a month may not be a lot to you.
Now, that is not Medicaid. He pivoted himself, which I don't like when they do that. That is the ACA. That is going to be subsidies. The premiums went up. The insurance companies increased the premiums because the government let it expire to pay for the gap in those premium payments, in the subsidies. They let it lapse. We just weren't funding it anymore.
Or to some of the billionaires that y'all are talking to. But for these moms with kids, they've lost their health insurance this last year.
Again, you guys don't care.
Gemini says the claim from RFK Jr., we found 1.5 million illegal immigrants collecting Medicaid. This claim is about as grounded in reality as a flat earth convention held at sea.
Your Gemini is so sassy.
Federal law generally bars undocumented immigrants from receiving full scope Medicaid, meaning those 1.5 million illegal immigrants are either a statistical ghost or a total misunderstanding of how the ER works.
Lol. I want your Gemini. Anyway, I'm just going to remind everybody, Olive replayed Maggery, and I just want to remind you guys that I don't trust what the government tells me. I just trust Donald Trump.
You could have just said, I just Trump. That would have been fine.
Trump. That would have fit too. I hated that day. I hated everything about that day. I felt icky and I needed a shower. I just wanted you to know.
I was actually like, I hadn't listened to any part of that live back at all. And just the parts that Olive was playing, I was literally like, my eyes were watering up. I was almost cry laughing. I was like having to wipe it away from my eyes because I was dying. Oh my God.
Marjorie's trying so hard. Marjorie said, but you trust Eric Swalwell. No, honey.
Ew.
I covered him for 2 full days. And the day that it came out when I covered him, when he ended his race in California for governor, I said, good. I hope he resigns from Congress. He did later that day. I didn't get to cover it until the next day, where I was glad that him and Tony Gonzalez, the Republican in Texas, also planned to retire. I said maybe they can investigate them and prosecute them for something, although we really don't like holding men accountable for assaulting women in this country because we vote for them to become president. That's what I said, Marjorie. So I didn't defend fucking Swalwell at all. Throw him under the prison, bitch.
Yet
Marjorie Marjorie also said the TDS is uncurable. I think you meant incurable.
Uncurable.
That's funny. She also she brought up Swalwell, but didn't mention Tony Gonzalez, which I did find out today that he made his exit from Congress effective immediately.
Oh, good. Fucker.
Yeah. I've been making a list of things, and that's one of the things I just stumbled upon while at lunch. I'm like, oh, is it effective immediately? Let me dig. And I dug, and it's because one of the women that is a Republican threatened that if you don't make it effective immediately, we're going to move forward with your expulsion.
Cool. And now she just has to say I'm a dumb Democrat because she's got nothing left because I didn't defend Swalwell because I'm never gonna. Okay.
But she doesn't know how to say incurable. Danny, who said anything about anything being free? Danny Turner.
Let's see. I gotta hold on. I gotta do something. Let's see.
I'm scared. What I do?
I had to get him before I got.
What happened?
I'm so confused. Hello?
What kind of dumb bitch thinks that us sitting here in Colorado, we're just like, we got a direct line to fucking Swalwell.
I don't give a fuck about Swalwell.
But you listen to Swalwell. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what we're doing in Denver.
totally doing that. Yeah.
Dumbass fucking
She got
people.
me before she got.
Got?
Was she going? Were you going after her and I missed it?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
Oh, she's talking.
But it's the same.
Oh,
the same as the U.S. versus Iran.
You know, get them before you get caught. Okay, couple more RFK clips. Babe, are you staying up here while you're in your helicopter, or what are you doing? Did you put me under your chair?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So what?
Okay, well, you're not staying up here.
Why?
By the way, I will have more clips next week because RFK was still, yes, I was right. He was still testifying in front of, I'm guessing now, the Senate today.
He's sitting, it's the House, but it's for education though.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the Committee for Education.
So fucking weird.
Because one of the clips, I don't have it for today. I will have it for next time, but literally, this is quoting, there's an argument for vapes. Vapes reduce cigarette smoking. That's an argument that the health secretary is making. But we'll get to that another day. It's fine. But it obviously wasn't going too well for him because this is how he looked. Now remember, yes, he has a shaky voice. It is a disorder that he has for why his voice sounds the way it sounds. But he doesn't have Parkinson's, so his body shouldn't shake. And yet
9,000 families in Massachusetts relied upon lighting last year. Attacking child care providers and delaying their payments means more parents who choose between child care and their paycheck. Families see through podcasts, campaigns. 60% of the American family in this very difficult time. Republicans need to understand that Americans deserve a fair shake. I'm going to close on the note that I opened with, Mr. Secretary. I think you're well aware of it. What we built in Massachusetts over these years since Senator Kennedy became president, it was done.
Like, what the fuck is going on with him?
How old is this one?
Is he in his 70s, I think? 72.
He's 72.
Yeah.
Trump's older than him?
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely, yeah. That I knew. And in the last clip that I have, I just want... Oh no, where'd it go? Did they get rid of it? You motherfuckers. I'll find a different version. Okay, hold on.
Guys, keep looking the screen share the live. There's $73 left on the gold. There's 74 people in here. If everyone sends a doll hair.
Okay. We'll do this one. Y'all tried it though. So this would have been today. I caught this one. This was from today. And he's going to be asked about Trump's mental fitness. And it's a little fun interaction that they had. And then I have one little funny clip and we'll get out of here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, you are the nation's top health official. And I want to talk to you today about the president's mental health. On April 5th at 8 o'clock on the morning of Easter Sunday, President Trump posted this statement on social media. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. An American president used the F word in a Sunday morning message that was seen by millions of people.
Not just any Sunday. What Sunday was it specifically?
Easter.
Easter.
Mr. Secretary, does this raise concerns for you about the president's mental health?
The president is a bargainer, and he knows how to make good deals.
Mr. Secretary, does this raise questions about the president's mental health to you?
Here's what I would say, that for 2 generations, every American president...
Mr. Secretary, you're being non-responsive. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary, I gather the answer, it does not raise concerns for you. 2 days later, on April 7th, President Trump put out a statement that said, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will," end quote. Mr. Secretary, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military is calling for the eradication of an entire civilization. And 5 days later, the president started posting on Truth Social at 9 p.m. at night, continuing until 5 a.m. the next morning, and included an unhinged attack on Pope Leo, claiming Pope Leo was weak on crime. And then, later that day, the next day, President Trump posted this image of himself as Jesus Christ. Mr. Secretary, people across the country and around the world were deeply offended by this blasphemous image. Millions of Americans are questioning this president's mental.
To be fair, Lanati, Dr. Oz is not Donald Trump's official doctor. Is it Ronnie Johnson? Ronnie, I can't remember if it's Johnson or Jackson, but
Doctor. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I'm kidding.
Like all the stuff Dr. Oz says is just conversations that he has with him on the plane.
Oh, Captain Sean Barbarella.
It's not his official doctor.
Names physician to the president.
He always talks about the other one.
Harold Bornstein? No, that's his first term.
He's technically the physician. Ronnie Jackson, that's the one that's the doctor served during his first term who he's always referencing. He's never talked about Sean Barbabella before. That's interesting. But so, yeah. Because I'm just saying since he is asking about Trump's mental state. But Dr. Oz isn't going to, Dr. Oz says he's fine too. He just drinks poison or whatever the fuck he says.
Oh, he's also a rep? Ronnie Jackson?
Is he a rep? He might be now that he's not his doctor anymore.
Yeah, he's a representative out of Texas.
Yeah, now that he's not his doctor anymore. Sure.
Fitness as emotional stability. and whether he can carry out the duties of his office. Do you share their concerns about his mental health?
I want to call your attention to the last line of that.
Mr. Secretary, my question was, do you share their concerns about his mental health?
I want to call your attention. I'm going to
Mr. Secretary, you're not being responsive. Apparently not reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman, direct a witness. It's my time, Mr. Secretary. You're not being responsive, and apparently you don't share their concerns.
Which, by the way, is totally their right when you're in Congress. You are totally allowed to ask rhetorical questions where you ask a question they don't answer. You're allowed to do that.
We are a nation at war, Mr. Secretary. We need a commander-in-chief that we know has full command of his mental faculties and is emotionally stable as he sends uniformed American men and women into harm's way. Millions of Americans are now wondering if this president is delusional and thinks he is Jesus Christ. Mr. Secretary, given everything that I've shown you today, will you insist that President Trump undergo an assessment of his mental fitness and his emotional stability?
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time absolutely not. I remind you that under the 25th Amendment, you have a duty to remove a president who is physically or mentally unable to discharge his responsibilities under the Constitution. It's your duty. You took an oath to the Constitution, not to President Trump. Mr. Secretary, should President Trump fail a mental fitness test or an evaluation about his mental stability or emotional stability, would you vote to invoke the 25th Amendment?
There hasn't been a president who's more...
Mr. Secretary, my question is, would you vote to invoke the 25th Amendment? Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time. It's my question.
He knows he can't answer because he'll get in trouble. So he has to fight back. Because Donald Trump will get rid of him.
Yeah, so that's why he's asking about his mental fitness, because the HHS secretary, as principal officer of the executive departments, can join the vice president to declare the president unable to discharge their duties.
Makes sense.
So he has the ability to work with the vice president to invoke the 25th Amendment.
I mean, the one thing I'll say, though, is I'm actually really annoyed at pushing the 25th. I'd actually rather them push Republicans on impeachment because the 25th is so much harder. Like, that's damn near impossible to get done.
Mm-hmm.
My question, Mr. Secretary, would you invoke the 24th Amendment if he were to fail an assessment of his mental stability or emotional stability?
As I said, President Trump is the most...
Apparently not, Mr. Secretary. Apparently not. Mr. Secretary, we can all see that this president is mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, and is unfit to lead this country. You, as the nation's top health official, have a particular role here, and you are choosing your loyalty to Donald Trump over your loyalty to the Constitution and keeping the faith with the American people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Well, you need the fundraising video.
Mr. Chairman, I
think
the gentleman's time has expired and been yielded, and I can ask the second grade classes to turn in again at this point. I'd hesitate to say something about the 25th Amendment with the last president. There was no concern there from the other side.
No, because we actually understood him. I know you guys didn't, because he spoke with a stutter and still too smart for you. So you didn't understand him. We understood him. Keep crying about it. Keep crying about it. I literally don't care. Actually, before I get into the funny, this one's really short. I just wanted to show it because I wanted to make sure we saw this. Because you want me to admonish Biden? I will. Biden tried to tell the American people that the economy was doing well when it was by the metrics of the stock market doing well. So good job shareholders and good job corporations. But Joe Biden was saying that the American people should be feeling it too. I think that's the dumbest fucking thing he ever could have done. Don't tell Americans who are struggling that everything is going well. But I guess luckily enough for us, as much as Joe Biden was an idiot in regards to that, Donald Trump and Scott Bessent also are. Instead of saying, we know it's rough out there, we're going to work on making it better, they're saying it is the best it's ever been. And apparently to Bessent, in its heart of hearts, they know.
Why aren't we seeing this sentiment? Why aren't people feeling better?
Well, when I was in the investment business, there are consumer surveys
but I used to look at what are the people really doing. So at Treasury, we have loads of CEOs come through, whether they're in retail, credit card, the banks, and the consumer, while they may be sounding.
Real quick, though. Adrian, you said there's no sign of Biden's mental decline, but somehow you equate a post. One, he just showed you multiple posts where there's issues with Donald Trump. Two, do magnets work in water? Were there airports at the Revolutionary War?
I don't want to do this game again.
Keep trying. No and yes. Do windmills give whales cancer? If you want to say Joe Biden was old and unfit, cool. He was old and unfit. He's gone. Hold the same standard for your man.
Trump is older.
Yeah, also that.
Than Biden was, and also unfit. Tasty Cake is trying to go the way of Sandwich.
He really wants to get muted. We can do that. Like I said, we can do that. I know I'm ending, but we can absolutely mute people for per day, per week, per month. Yeah, can you be electrocuted in a large body of water?
I mean...
DFF, I never said that. You would have to show me examples where Biden's mental acuity in his performance and his job was an issue.
Wait, Jesus was not an aviator? It's crazy.
You can try.
Grim is actually quite buoyant. So we are seeing spending has been very solid across most categories.
So they might not feel good, but...
Well, look, in their heart of hearts, they feel good. I'm not sure.
Oh, don't worry, America. In your heart of hearts, you feel good.
AKA, your fifis are going to be okay.
Your heart of hearts, you feel good. And then here's the funny I had. So, by the way, I'm seeing all over Twitter, I'm seeing reporting that the leaders in Tehran are like, I don't know what the fuck Donald Trump's talking about. So we'll see how long this negotiative deal lasts too, which is great. But this is, somebody did this in way of, okay, I want you to look. The war is over. Elon is Trump and Barron is Netanyahu. The war is over, guys. Because Netanyahu's going to be really upset if it comes to be true. But the reporting we're getting is not good. Again, I really hope it's not, but it might be. And it's fucking Friday. I didn't think about that. Weekend market manipulation for the stocks to look better.
Yay.
You guys are stupid. You guys are fucking dumb.
Tasty Cake said, did Kamala question the vaccine in the VP debate? Yes. Did she change her tune when they won? Yes. That's not... She didn't question the science of the vaccine. She was questioning trust. She was saying that she would trust a doctor over Trump's endorsement.
Correct.
Her specific quote was, if the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors
it's Friday,
tell us
Friday,
that we should
gotta
take
get
it,
down on Friday.
I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it. She's saying she trusts the doctors over Trump, which she should.
Yeah, if you blindly believe the president who has no idea about medicine and or anything for vaccinations, I don't know why you would blindly, because my president said so.
Trump was cooking up the vaccine. What?
Trump didn't make the vaccine.
Trump's not smart.
He did, with Congress, enact Operation Warp Speed so that they could do... So, don't know if you know this, what happens with... God, I haven't argued this in so long. What happens with vaccines is they have a certain amount of testing that they have to do. Now, the COVID vaccine still had to do that testing. The difference is when you have to do that testing, let's say you do it this year, and then in another year or two, you do the next one, another year or two, you do the next one. Instead, they were able to do all three at the same time. So it made it faster for them to be able to do that testing and get it out. We had been studying mRNA technology for the last 10, 15, 20 years already. So this wasn't brand fucking new. All they did was take the testing and make it so they didn't have to wait years to do that testing. They could do that testing now. That's all. That's all they did. And put funding towards that. And there were a lot of celebrities. I remember Dolly Parton specifically, who spent money to these corporations to help them with their research on the mRNA vaccine specifically, not the J&J. That was different. Remember, J&J was different than the mRNA. And we got a vaccine out. It was not for the public until we got to Biden. Again, I don't blame that on Trump. That was just the sequence of events. We started getting a vaccine that was out to very specific people. It was not out to the general public yet. Until then. Yes, larger group, faster timeline. Thank you. He didn't cook up anything.
Once the FDA's vaccine and related biological products advisory committee, the VRBPAC, and the CDC's advisory committee on immunization practices, ACIP, the doctors she was talking about, once the doctors formally authorized the vaccines, then she received a dose. She said that she was going to wait for the doctors. Mm-hmm. The doctors approved it, and then she received the dose. So I'm missing where the consistency is lacking.
A bomb factory. They're bombs. Like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. Tasty Cake has always been a disingenuous
Damn, I was starting to think he was going for Trump Master Chef.
That's just McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, when it was available for kids, I didn't take my children in and say, give it to him. What I did was I consulted their physician to make sure, because my kids are immunocompromised, and made sure that it was something that was going to be compatible with them. I don't know that. I guess Tasty Cake just probably doesn't go to the doctor, to be fair. Right. I guess you don't talk to your doctor about things before you do them.
What was 6 weeks? What are you talking about, Tasty Cake? What's the 6 weeks?
Donald Trump was the one making the vaccine himself. Okay, Tasty Cake. Okay. You're done.
He was in the lab.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna do this one for free. You're done. You're done today. You're done. Go away. Himself. Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure, Tasty Cake. All right. Oh no, what do you mean, Davo? Oh no, what'd you do, Ari? Oh, okay. Ari, thank you so much for the $7 for let's just make it until next Friday. W's to Ari for that. Thank you. So that he doesn't get to come back for a week. So, I mean, he can come back.
He just gets muted.
Yep, he just gets muted. So that brings us to 66. I appreciate you guys. Let me get my thank yous out.
Let me go get situated.
Okay.
No weird name, Raid.
I didn't do it. Kayla did it.
I wasn't yelling at you. I was yelling at Kayla. Kayla. Okay, bye.
Insight. That erection. Okay. Let's go to Venmo here. So thank you, Ari. Thank you, Jumar. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you, Godzilla God King. Thank you, Ashby. And I believe over here it's just Rhett. Thank you, Rhett. Thank you guys so much for your support today. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. We usually play games on the weekends. We never know what night, what time. It's like herding cats to get us all together to play games. It's a thing. It's a thing we do. But so if you follow me on Twitch, that is where I stream whenever we do decide to game. So if you want to come watch us game, you can do that. Following Olive, she also will do her gaming. So we are going to go raid Olive. I'll give her a minute to get situated over on Twitch and YouTube, but then I will send you guys over there. TikTok, you guys will go over there on your own. Make sure you go over there and do a Monty raid. Say whatever kind of raid you want, I guess. I don't know. Come up with something that's going to make her make faces, because it's really funny when she does. Blue, I love you, and I'll see you later.
Love you. Bye-bye.
All right. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend. Again, unplug if you can. The got raid. You do the Monty got raid. So we're gonna go raid Olive. I appreciate you all. YouTube and Twitch, stick around for just a second while I figure that out. But TikTok, I will see you guys if you follow me on Twitch to game, or I'll see you on Monday. I do plan to go live Monday for Midterm Monday. So I should see you Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. Okay, let's do Twitch. She usually starts up first, so we'll raid her over here. I'll get you guys set up. Let's see. Let's see if she... Oh, where'd you go? I lost you. Just kidding. Okay. Yes. Start the raid. Get you guys going here. We'll get out of here. Get you YouTube, get you going as well. Hold on. I have to do it this way. I appreciate you guys being patient with me while I do that, because it's like, I don't know why it takes so long. Oh, come on. Is she not on YouTube yet? Oh, there she goes. Okay. Bye, guys.